Hey everyone, per your requests, I'm starting Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San, chapters 1.61 through 1.8. Of the previous episode, the battle for the throne reaches its dramatic climax as the tournament's top contenders clash. Tang San, disguised as the enigmatic Jean Mirolan of the Blue Gold Tree clan, proves his prowess not through brute force, but through a masterful combination of ancient artifacts, including the auction-won Throne of Frost and Shadow Fiend sword, and the hidden strength of his newly awakened god-killing domain. The geopolitical stability of the continent is shattered by the Crystal Demon Emperor's fall and the subsequent power vacuum. Tang San, now a god, navigates these treacherous political waters by positioning his clan as a neutral, indispensable life force provider, securing the support of the remaining emperors. As he and Mei Gongzi, now the strongest candidates for the emperor seats, approach the final rounds of the tournament, they realize their union could redefine the future of humanity. Tang San continues to orchestrate a long-term plan to secure human independence, all while maintaining his charade to avoid provoking the ancestral court's full wrath, ensuring that he and Mei Gongzi stand ready to ascend and reclaim the power of a god king. Thank you. Now let's get back to the story of Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San audio series. At this point, no one could make sense of it, especially Suan Yu himself. Why did Tang San continue using attacks with attributes that actually amplified his power? What was the point? Seeing that he couldn't easily break through the defense of Tang San's shield, Suan Yu gradually slowed his assault. He was calm by nature and wouldn't do something reckless like igniting his bloodline unless things were really dire. In his eyes, Tang San was only borrowing the power of the Crystal Demon Emperor, not wielding his own strength. Whether he could maintain control of these replicated abilities over a prolonged period was questionable. The best method then was to drag things out and look for flaws. As their offensive exchanges slowed, the battle in the sky remained dazzling. Enormous deep blue vortices continuously manifested, bursting with water energy, while on the other side, golden light dragons soared and circled, shrouded in clouds of light energy. Now that their trump cards had been revealed, the fight settled into a deadlock, with both sides cautiously probing one another. Jiang Chenchou had also arrived today, though she no longer had the right to sit in the competitor's rest area. As she watched the battle unfold in the sky, she was consumed by bitterness and rage. These two were truly cunning. They waited until they'd already become official emperor seeds to unveil their true power. So she never had a chance from the beginning? The undying golden body is the ultimate defense? The hell it is. That dark turtle shield in Jean Miaolin's hands is clearly even stronger. And that asshole Suan Yu, if he had used his dual heart form when fighting her, Jiang Chenchou could not have fought him for 2 minutes, let alone hours. But no, the guy had deliberately chosen a drawn-out battle to exhaust her. These two bastards were far too devious. The audience was just as shaken, especially when it came to Tang San. What amethystan warrior? This is far beyond that. Even without his array of divine artifacts, just the Crystal Demon Emperor's inheritance alone was enough to make him a top contender in this tournament. As Tang San and Suan Yu circled and tested each other, 15 minutes passed in a flash. Neither showed any sign of fatigue. It was as if they had just started their match moments ago. Standing atop the radiant twin dragon's head, Suan Yu gazed at the vortices in front of him. His attack suddenly paused. Tang San seized the opportunity and thrust his spear. The Holy Dragon Spear closed the distance almost instantly. With its absolute strike power, it was impossible for it to miss. Golden light erupted from Suan Yu's body as he raised his spear to block Tang San's strike. The instant their spears clashed, golden light surged once more. His light energy was flaring violently in reaction to Tang San's holy energy, temporarily ascending to a new level. And at that moment, Suan Yu erupted. The radiant twin dragon's piercing cry tore through the air. Suan Yu sprang up from its head, merging with his spear into a bolt of dazzling golden lightning as he shot toward Tang San. His 6 wings folded tight, concentrating all of his light energy around him. Spear intent surged sharp and unstoppable. A deep blue vortex instantly spun into place in his path, but Suan Yu's body twisted at an unnatural angle, as if he were some kind of human-shaped snake. At that same moment, the radiant twin dragon beneath him roared even louder. Suddenly, the entire sky seemed to freeze. Tang San's vortices stalled for just an instant. Suan Yu's twisting form skimmed along the edge of the vortex without being pulled in. Seizing that fleeting moment of stasis, he shot through and hurled his spear directly at Tang San. His abrupt eruption had come as a complete surprise, and he had even borrowed Tang San's own holy energy to boost himself. He had played to his strengths perfectly. The spear was instantly before Tang San. Tang San stood atop the crystal dragon, unmoved. His left hand raised the black tortoise shield. In a flash, the shield expanded to cover not just his entire body, but the dragon's head as well. A deafening clang rang out, as if heaven's bell and earth's drum had struck in unison. The sky rippled violently. Suan Yu's strike had been terrifying, yet the shield had stopped it. But in that same instant, the audience saw something extraordinary. Though Suan Yu's blow had failed to break through, a golden figure had silently appeared behind Tang San on the crystal dragon's back. It looked exactly like Suan Yu, only without the six-winged light sprite. It hovered lightly, without letting out even a trace of aura, and thrust its palm at Tang San's back. At that moment, Tang San's black tortoise shield was fully engaged in front of him. He had just deflected Suan Yu's powerful strike. His holy dragon spear lashed out again, thrusting straight toward Suan Yu's chest. He seemed entirely unaware of the danger behind him. What kind of ability was this? How had Suan Yu manifested a second body identical to himself behind Tang San? A faint smirk flickered in Suan Yu's eyes. Got you, little brother. But had he gotten Tang San, really? At that same moment, Suan Yu saw a matching smirk on Tang San's face. A surge of alarm hit him. Tang San's right foot, connected to the crystal dragon's head via the crystal armor, suddenly snapped backward, detaching itself from the dragon. The next instant it turned a deep golden color, gleaming with golden light, then smashed directly into the palm coming from behind him. A powerful crash echoed through the sky. The golden figure was sent flying, though not too far. The ability of the golden mammoth's War Stomp. To use War Stomp in midair without disturbing the mount's flight, the control over one's movements and force had to be extraordinary. Even more shockingly, Tang San hadn't once looked behind him. It was obvious that he had actually detected the clone from the get-go. At the same time, Tang San's holy dragon spear was again intercepted by Suan Yu's weapon. Suan Yu's light energy flared once more. But this time the spear didn't bounce off. It stuck, as if they were glued together. Suan Yu was stunned. How had Tang San detected the surprise attack coming from behind him? More importantly, the moment Tang San's foot made contact, his connection to that duplicate body had vanished. His avatar was completely paralyzed and could not even move anymore. Let's end this, Tang San said quietly. A strange sensation surged into Suan Yu's divine consciousness. In that instant, he felt a wave of sudden weakness, as if he were sinking in an infinitely viscous sea. The holy dragon spear flared brilliantly. Orange golden light, holy and intense, blazed around it. From the audience's point of view, Suan Yu's radiant armor suddenly turned translucent. The dazzling six-winged sprite behind him detached and reverted to her light sprite form. The next moment, something happened that shocked everyone. The light sprite simply abandoned Suan Yu and shot toward Tang San's holy dragon spear. The moment she landed, the weapon's orange-golden glow exploded in intensity. Suan Yu felt weaker than ever before, and his own spear was finally overwhelmed. The holy dragon spear slammed into his chest, blasting him 100 meters away. Tang San didn't pursue him. Instead, he abruptly turned around, just as Suan Yu's clone that had attacked him from behind was finally recovering its bearings following that powerful war stomp. What greeted it was the black tortoise shield's sudden vortex of pulling force, along with an all-out thrust of the holy dragon spear, this time boosted by the light sprite. The clone shattered, dissipating into countless specks of light in midair, and leaving behind only a cluster of faint golden light that shot back toward Suan Yu. Suan Yu let out a muffled grunt, spitting a mouthful of blood. This clone wasn't something he could casually sacrifice. It required a significant amount of his own divine consciousness to control, and it was empowered by the light sprite. When the light sprite was stripped away from him, not only did Suan Yu weaken, but both his clone and the radiant twin dragon that shared his body and soul were drastically impacted. All these changes happened in an instant. leaving all the spectators wide-eyed in astonishment. Whether it was Suan Yu's surprise clone attack and his power that caused even space around him to freeze for an instant, or Tang San's miraculous counter, everything was dazzling to behold. This was a true peak-level battle. These two most cunning contestants seemed to finally unleash their strongest attacks in a real all-out clash. When the clone appeared, everyone thought Tang San was finished. Even the emperors thought the same. Yet to everyone's surprise, Tang San had not only survived, but even turned the tables. He had stripped Suan Yu's most powerful treasure, the light sprite, and pulled her to his side. As he stood atop the radiant twin dragon's head, Suan Yu's expression kept shifting unpredictably. He had never imagined that his killing blow would be countered by Tang San. All those spear thrusts you threw at me just now, they were all to lure my light sprite, weren't they? Suan Yu didn't continue attacking. Instead, he questioned Tang San. Tang San smiled faintly. Lure sounds as if I did something bad. Let's call it attracting new friends. Suan Yu gave a bitter smile. I was really foolish. I actually thought you were wasting your efforts, and I even used your Holy Dragon Spear's energy to counterattack. I didn't expect you could even take away the light sprite. Tang San shook his head. I didn't take her from you. I just used holy energy to entice her temporarily. You already know it yourself. Holy energy might be your future path of evolution, an ascension of your light attribute bloodline. Your light sprite's pure light affinity naturally got her drawn to it. Don't worry, I'll return her after the match, and I'll give her back with due interest. After being baptized by the holy energy, she will benefit quite a little. Suan Yu gave Tang San a complicated look. That aside, how did you detect my clone? That clone only has 70% of my strength, but it can freely appear wherever light is. Once it does, it can release all its power instantly in one attack. Weren't you focused entirely on me at that moment? Even when stripping my light sprite, your attention should have been on me. The clone should have been completely hidden. Tang San gave him an exasperated look. Brother, come on. Where did that clone come from? Didn't the Crystal Demon Emperor help you create it during your training? It's derived from her own research on self-replication. And yes, my crystal dragon really is her inheritance. Though Her Majesty has passed, it still retains a trace of her divine consciousness. You're using what she taught you to attack her heir, and you wonder how I noticed. Suan Yu was rendered speechless, almost covering his face in shame. A strong sense of frustration welled up inside him. In the sky, both the Sunborn Nymph Emperor and the Undying Demon Emperor wore similarly stunned expressions. As emperors, they clearly saw it. The moment Suan Yu's light sprite was stripped away and his clone destroyed, the match was over. With Tang San gaining and Suan Yu losing, there was no point in continuing. But this whole process felt a little too seamless, as if both sides had agreed to it beforehand. As if Tang San had always known how to counter Suan Yu and ultimately defeat him. Jin Miaolin was actually this formidable? The legacy of the Crystal Demon Emperor that he'd inherited. His overwhelming adaptability and brilliant tactics, his holy energy. Any one of these things was massively impressive even by itself, and he had them all. Now even the Sunborn Nymph Emperor was reconsidering. Could someone really serve as his subordinate? When the Crystal Demon Emperor was a great demon king, was she even this powerful? And then there were all those divine items he now possessed, as well as the Scourge Dragon. It seemed that his hands were the likes that turned dust into gold. Want to continue? Tang San gestured politely towards Suan Yu. Suan Yu gave a bitter smile and shook his head. Could you at least leave me a spot? Don't take all of them, he said helplessly. Tang San smiled. Don't worry. As Her Majesty's disciple, you'll have your place. Suan Yu visibly relaxed, and even the emperors in the stand softened a little. Tang San's words meant he was promising Suan Yu an emperor seat. To the emperors, that implied Tang San wouldn't be too monstrous after ascending. That was as good as any promise could get. I concede. Give me back my light sprite, Suan Yu sighed. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor declared loudly. Victory goes to Jin Miaolin of the Blue Gold Tree clan. Tang San gave a slight smile and bowed to both emperors, not revealing the slightest arrogance after such a victory. His demeanor remained the same as before. With a flick of the Holy Dragon Spear, the light sprite floated out dazedly, still enveloped in a soft orange-golden glow. Go back now. Your master's over there. Tang San pointed at Suan Yu. A hint of embarrassment flashed across the light sprite's tiny face. But when she turned to look at Tang San, her eyes showed clear reluctance, and even a touch of grievance. Tang San chuckled and pointed at Suan Yu again. Only then did the light sprite fly toward him. When she reached Suan Yu's side, she lowered her head, not daring to meet his eyes. Suan Yu shot her an annoyed glare before pulling her back into his body. But as he did that, his expression changed slightly. Just as Tang San had said, the light sprite now carried a residual trace of holy energy. The transformation was subtle, but it was unquestionably there, and it would be of immense assistance to him in the future. Thank you, Suan Yu said sincerely, giving Tang San a slight bow before flying down to the ground. Tang San followed, returning to his throne. At this moment, all the watching emperors wore mixed expressions. The celestial fox demon emperor narrowed his eyes in Tang San's direction. Clan leader Jean Miaolin, you are the victor of the losers bracket. Do you wish to challenge City Lord Mei for the championship? Mei Gongzi also looked at Tang San now, and her gaze betrayed the complex emotions she was feeling. She could have never imagined that Jean Miaolin would be this powerful. To think he carried the Crystal Demon Emperor's inheritance, and he would use it to defeat the resplendent Radiant Dragon King Suan Yu. And now it would be him facing her in the final match. Tang San bowed toward Council Mountain. I wish to continue. I challenge City Lord Mei. In that instant, Mei Gongzi's gaze sharpened. Tang San could clearly feel a killing aura radiating from her. Very well. In that case, tomorrow shall be the final battle of this battle for the throne, and also the ultimate match of the matchmaking tournament. After the match, the spouse selection will commence. That is all for today. The match had ended, but in the spectator stands, no one dared chant Amethystan Warrior anymore. Jean Miaolin's performance today was far beyond what such a title could ever explain. Suan Yu approached Tang San, his gaze filled with complexity. Brother Jean, all this time I believed I had the deepest foundations. I never expected you to be hiding so much. You are the true powerhouse. Tang San offered a light smile. The feeling is mutual. Brother Su, you truly surprised me as well. I was lucky today. My advantage came from elemental compatibility. Suan Yu sighed. I won't be attending tomorrow. I must enter seclusion immediately. I need to experiment with the holy energy you left within the light sprite and integrate it into my own power. I want to prepare for one final breakthrough. Let me offer you an early wish for success. You're not going to choose a partner? Asked Tang San. Suan Yu shrugged. There's no rush. Before I inherit the title of Lord of Crystal City, none of that matters. I mean, it would have been great if things had worked out, but the one I originally wanted to choose, well, I doubt I still have a chance. Tang San's mouth twitched slightly. Why didn't I finish him off earlier? Still daring to covet my wife? Of course, he wasn't about to start a fight right now. Even if just on account of crystalline, he had to give Suan Yu some face. Suddenly, Suan Yu shot Tang San a wink, then said, I'll be going now. With that, he turned and strode off quickly. Tang San was rather taken aback, but a moment later, he realized why he had been left alone. Mei Gongzi was right behind him. Clan leader Jean, do you have a moment? Tang San turned toward her. At this moment, his heart was somewhat at ease. For him, winning the battle for the throne wasn't all that difficult. The true challenge was winning the tournament and gaining the recognition of the emperors, all while hiding his true strength. Everything had gone according to his plan. Even having Suan Yu win the light sprite at the auction had been part of his setup. Now everything was in place. He would finally face his beloved in the championship match. Defeating Suan Yu twice, this had always been Tang San's goal. Even if Suan Yu hadn't forfeited earlier, the outcome would have been the same. Only by doing this could Mei Gongzi avoid clashing with Suan Yu. Given her current strength, she still couldn't defeat someone of his caliber. Of course. Tang San smiled. Mei Gongzi said, Clan leader Jean, if you promise not to choose me after tomorrow's match, I'll surrender and let you have the championship. But Tang San shook his head. That won't do. City Lord Mei, I don't know if you'll believe me, but from the moment I first saw you, I've been deeply in love. It was love at first sight. To me, this matchmaking tournament is even more important than the battle for the throne. Why won't you give me a chance? I'm willing to offer the life bond necklace as my betrothal gift and propose to you." Mei Gongxi's expression instantly darkened. She let out a cold snort. "See you on the battlefield tomorrow." With that, she turned and swept away. Watching her leave, Tang San felt a bit helpless. Right now, everything was under the scrutiny of the Emperor's divine consciousness. Naturally, he didn't dare reveal anything. Not because of any flaws on his part, but because he feared Mei Gongxi might show emotional fluctuations if she suddenly realized his true identity, fluctuations that would arouse the Emperor's suspicion. Still, the time would inevitably come to let her know. Otherwise, what if she went all out against him tomorrow? Or worse, what if she found out by herself and murdered him in cold blood afterward? He turned toward the arena, at the slowly departing audience, and then at the towering council mountain. He let out a long breath. A wave of powerful energy surged within his chest, and everything began to feel beautiful. In this realm, he could finally start taking charge of his own fate. Though he had not taken the final step, everything was within control. A faint divine radiance appeared on Tang San's face as he gazed toward the distant sky. That battle in the skies, visible not just to the audience, but to all of the ancestral court, had etched the name Jean Miaolin into the minds of the people. Crown Prince Jean Miaolin, or perhaps Emperor-to-be Jean Miaolin. Even though one final match remained, anyone with discerning eyes could see that Mei Gongxi would struggle to stop him. And somewhere else, another quiet wind had begun to stir. At the Sunborn Palace, the Sunborn Nymph Emperor sat on his high throne. Standing at the base of the steps below was a young woman, the fourth-place finisher in the tournament, Zhang Chancho. "What are your thoughts on today's battle?" the Sunborn Nymph Emperor asked coolly. Zhang Chancho raised her head to look at him, her eyes filled with frustration. A battle between two schemers. They were both far too cunning. A faint twitch appeared at the corner of the Sunborn Nymph Emperor's mouth. "You're just too naive." Well, being forthright isn't necessarily a bad thing, but nobody achieved anything great by being 100% honest all the time. "Really, I don't know what you expected." Zhang Chuncho lowered her head. "I've disappointed you." The Sunborn Nymph Emperor waved his hand. "You did your best. Your opponents were simply too powerful. But let's set that aside for now. Chuncho, what do you think of Jean Miaolin?" She blinked. "Jean Miaolin? You mean?" The Sunborn Nymph Emperor looked at her meaningfully. "Don't forget, this is a matchmaking tournament. Jean Miaolin's future is limitless. Now that the Blue Gold Tree clan is neutral, under his leadership they'll surely prosper, and they could even become one of the most important clans on the continent. As for the man himself, he is practically guaranteed to become an emperor. The Crystal Demon Emperor's legacy fully compensates for his only weakness." Zhang Chuncho wasn't stupid. She immediately grasped the implication. Indeed, she was the proud daughter of the Prime Nymph clan, and Jean Miaolin was a crown prince destined for the throne. Though she hadn't won a place in the battle for the throne, she was more than qualified to be his spouse. Her cheeks turned slightly pink. She lowered her head and softly said, "I leave it all in your hands, Your Majesty." The Sunborn Nymph Emperor shook his head and said, "Happiness is something you must seize for yourself. The tournament isn't over yet, so I can't approach him now. But tomorrow, before the match, I'll create an opportunity for you." The Earthshade Nymph Emperor sighed softly. Suan Yu was built upon the vast resources of the dragon race, and he himself is incredibly gifted. The dragons aren't called the #1 race for nothing. With countless years of accumulated power, it's never been difficult for them to produce emperors. But as for Jean Miaolin, even I can't quite see through him. I honestly can't fathom how he became this strong. But either way, both are true chosen ones. They won't just stop at becoming ordinary emperors. They may very well become leaders of the entire ancestral court. It was the same with the Crystal Demon Emperor, and she only started revealing her monstrous potential after she attained the throne. These two are already this strong now. But that aside, Suan Yu is a dragon, and apart from exceptional circumstances, his future spouse will also come from among the dragons. But Jean Miaolin is different. If you could gain his help, your own achievements would rise to another level. Don't forget, this battle for the throne is also a matchmaking tournament. What do you think of him?" Shen Shao froze. Master. You want the truth? The Earthshade Nymph Emperor nodded. Of course. Shen Shao gave a wry smile. I honestly looked down on him before. I thought he was just lucky to keep advancing. The Blue Gold Tree clan is so weak that I didn't even bother paying attention to them. Who could have known that guy had been hiding himself so well? He even inherited the Crystal Demon Emperor's legacy. The Earthshade Nymph Emperor said calmly. So, you're not interested in him? But Shen Zhao's eyes lit up. On the contrary, I am interested now. Actually, I was thinking of visiting him at the White Tiger Hotel later. What do you think? The Earthshade Nymph Emperor laughed. I think that whatever happens will depend on your skills. Jin Miaolin's future is limitless, and the Blue Gold Tree clan will definitely rise again under his leadership. Because of that, there will be many trying to win his favor. Moving early is the smart play. Go on then. All right. I'm going now. I will win him over. Shen Shao clenched her fist as she spoke. At the Rainbow Glaze Palace. Huh? You mean me? You want me to get close to Jin Miaolin and make him choose me tomorrow? Nan Shuawei looked at the Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor in shock. What is that beneath you? The Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor asked, looking at its treasured daughter. Nan Shuawei blinked. Would he even choose me? Besides, he's got that weird blue skin. He looks so ugly. The Rainbow Glaze clan had always been devoted to aesthetics. Of course, that applied to their own clan's aesthetics. The Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor said flatly, Can you eat handsomeness? If you want to be 100% sure of succeeding my position, you better get that straight. Didn't you see how the Adamant Nymph clan has been floundering ever since the loss of the Adamant Nymph Emperor? With your current ability, you can't support our entire clan alone. Nan Shuawei pouted. That's not what you used to say. You always said beauty was the foundation of everything. That was then. This is now. We can't miss this opportunity. Besides, it's still true. Your looks are your greatest asset. I can assure you, he's not lacking admirers for tomorrow's matchmaking. Nan Shuawei said a bit sadly. But I don't like him. Feelings can be cultivated. The Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor said coldly. We nymphs have finally produced someone who could potentially replace the Sunborn Nymph Emperor in the future. If you miss this chance, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. As my heir, the next Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor, you don't have a choice. For the sake of our clan, and for Rainbow Glaze City, even if you must feign affection, you must win over a powerful ally. As for who that ally should be, don't forget we're mineral-type nymphs. We need far more life energy than others do. In other words, whether our lineage flourishes under your rule depends on Jin Miaolin. That is your responsibility. Nan Shuawei lowered her head, and her stunning beauty took on a touch of sorrow. At the White Tiger Grand Hotel. Back in her hotel suite, Mei Gongzi was in a terrible mood. In truth, ever since she saw Jin Miaolin and Suan Yu reveal their trump cards, her mood had plummeted. They were too strong. Both of them possessed extraordinary artifacts and power. She had the Azura sword, yes, but those two also had incredible weapons and terrifying might. What weighed on her most, though, were the words Jin Miaolin had whispered to her in the waiting area. Tang-san, where are you? The competition is almost over, so why haven't you come back? What am I supposed to do? Fight to the death or run away with you after it all ends? Just then light flickered. Mei Gongzi turned instinctively toward the terrace. Two figures appeared. The Undying Demon Emperor and the White Tiger Demon Emperor, arriving together. Both emperors wore warm smiles as they stepped inside. Mei Gongzi quickly moved to greet them. Grandfather. Second grandfather. The White Tiger Demon Emperor laughed. Little one, you really made us proud this time. Champion of the winner's bracket, a crown princess. Our family's got another emperor coming. The Undying Demon Emperor nodded slightly. Our phoenix race will flourish like never before. All thanks to you. Tomorrow is the final match. Normally, we wouldn't disturb you tonight. But there's something I must talk to you about. What is it, Grandpa? Mei Gongzi asked. The Undying Demon Emperor looked at her seriously. What do you think of Jin Miaolin? Mei Gongzi's heart skipped a beat. She instantly realized that her grandfather had been impressed by Jin Miaolin's performance today against Suan Yu. Grandpa, what do you mean? I already have someone I love. I could never choose someone else. she responded at once. The undying demon emperor sighed. But you must understand, Jean Miaolin may well become the next crystal demon emperor. Even the ancestral tree might not match his control over life energy. And the crystal demon emperor's legacy ensured that he would never be a weakling like everyone else in his clan. He even subdued the scourge dragon, and more importantly, merged life and destruction into a higher order energy that we've never even heard of before, and life and light into holy energy. These two energies both hold potential to transcend the limits of this plane. In other words, not only will he reach the emperor level, but he has the potential to transcend it. If that happens, he won't just be a ruler. He could become a true god. If that day comes, all of planet Phelan will evolve. I truly hope you can grasp this opportunity. But Mei Gongzi shook her head without hesitation. Grandpa, I really do have someone I love. Feelings aren't a bargaining chip. The reason I've fought so hard and strived forward with everything I have is so I can take control of my own life. How could I let go of it just like that? The undying demon emperor fell briefly silent. Little Mei, don't rush your decision. There's still one more night. Think it over carefully. If you choose him, your future will be smooth beyond imagination. Mei Gongzi's eyes reddened. In that moment she truly felt aggrieved. Tang-san, where are you? Why won't you come when I need you the most? Then the white tiger demon emperor spoke up. Brother Undying, I don't think we need to pressure little Mei. Love is something that must come from the heart. Yes, profit matters, but you phoenixes will have 3 emperors and then me as your ally. We will become the greatest force in the entire Empyrean Dominion, maybe even the ancestral court. There's no need to force anything. Let little Mei follow her heart. At his words, Mei Gongzi's eyes lit up, only for them to mist over a moment later. Her tears glistened as all the grievance she held in her heart over not being able to reach Tang Sen threatened to erupt. Don't cry, my precious granddaughter, don't cry. Your grandpa was just giving you a suggestion, not forcing you to marry that Jean Miaolin, said the undying demon emperor softly. Since you're unwilling, I won't push you, but you have to consider something. Can you actually win against him in tomorrow's final? That kid's been hiding deep. It wasn't until yesterday's match that he brought out his actual trump cards. Even we overlooked him, though we really shouldn't have. You see, when he presented himself in front of the celestial pillars, all of them reacted. That scene was astounding. I have never even heard of something happening. He ended up choosing the Crystal Demon Emperor's pillar, but we didn't expect that the inheritance he received would be so complete. Not only did he inherit the replication ability, but he can even summon a crystal dragon to fight alongside him. And with those divine weapons he's wielding, I struggle to see how anyone could beat him at his level. Mei Gongzi gave a small nod. I understand, Grandpa, but I will give it everything I've got. The undying demon emperor said solemnly. If things reach a critical moment, and you need to use your phoenix bloodline, then do it. You're already a crown princess. Though revealing it might bring some complications, Shima and I will publicly protect you. With the 2 of us and White Tiger, even the old celestial fox will have to think carefully whether he wants to oppose us. Tears finally spilled from Mei Gongzi's eyes. Thank you, Grandpa. But the white tiger demon emperor suddenly laughed. Silly girl, why are you crying? You're a crown princess now, just one step away from becoming a true emperor. Since when do emperors cry, huh? Ha 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 ha. Mei Gongzi froze for a moment, then quickly wiped her tears away, embarrassed. She stomped her foot lightly. Grandfather. Back in his own room, Tang San had finally quieted down. After today's match, when the elders of the Blue Gold Tree clan looked at him, their expressions were filled with awe and complex emotions. Only today had they truly realized just how powerful their clan leader had become. Everything felt unreal, as if they were living inside a dream. Since arriving at the ancestral court, the elders had been through experiences they'd never imagined possible. From being overlooked and ignored to now standing under the spotlight of all Demon Continent, mere weeks had passed. The elders themselves had become honored guests wherever they went. And after today's battle, their respect and reverence for Tang San had only deepened. Though he hadn't officially become an emperor yet, the respect the Blue Gold Tree clan now received was already equivalent to that of an emperor's clan, if not greater. The number of invitations, formal pledges, and handwritten requests they'd received in just these few days was simply overwhelming. Even lower-level clans without a main city had sent their leaders in hopes of having Blue Gold Tree clan members settle among them. After all, their clan had over 40 people at the 10th Order and above, while there were barely over a dozen main cities. Tang San had instructed the elders to handle all social matters on his behalf. Upon returning, he focused first on reviewing his battle with Suan Yu, especially the use of Crystalline's power, to ensure there were no flaws or oversights. After careful consideration, he was fairly confident nothing had been exposed. After all, the replication power he used truly came from the Crystal Demon Emperor's legacy, not from his own bloodlines. Moreover, that was not even what had drawn the Emperor's attention. The thing that had made them look more closely was the holy energy being so attractive for the light sprite that she had betrayed Suan Yu with no hesitation. Tomorrow was the final match against Mei Gongzi. What he had to consider now was how to get her to recognize him without making it obvious, and especially without raising suspicion among the watching emperors. The best plan still seemed to be winning the match first, claiming the championship, and using the matchmaking tournament's rules to make her his fiancée in name. Then, in a private moment, preferably outside the ancestral court, he could reveal his identity. That would be the safest approach. But there was still one major concern. What if she went all out in the match and even risked her life? That would be a serious problem. She wasn't the same as before, after all. Back in the day, he could have easily suppressed her, but right now, her control over the Azura sword made her a real danger. If she went berserk, there was no telling what could happen. If worst came to worst, he might have to risk letting her notice some clues before the match, or suppress her instantly at the start of the battle, before she could go all out. That would be the ideal outcome. Just then there was a knock at the door. Tang San frowned. He had already told the elders not to disturb him. Why was someone here? "What is it?" he asked. From outside came the voice of the Grand Elder. "Apologies for disturbing you, clan leader. The Netherman Flower Clan San Shao has come to visit, carrying the Earthshade Nymph Emperor's personal decree. We couldn't turn her away." Tang San was a bit surprised. A decree from the Earthshade Nymph Emperor? Alright, let her in then. Neither Jean Miaolin nor the clan have much of a connection to the Earthshade Nymph Emperor. Why send someone now? San Shao? What's up with her? The door opened, and in stepped San Shao in a flowing blue dress. Her long dark blue hair cascaded behind her. Though not a stunning beauty, she was still strikingly graceful. The nymph races were different from the demon races. Before gaining spiritual awareness, they typically spent long years accumulating power, only to sprint through the cultivation levels after they awakened. The Netherman Flower Clan in particular had a strong bloodline, and once their members awakened, they generally started at the 7th Order or even higher. With proper training and talent, they could soon reach for the rank of Nymph King. It was a crucial milestone. Success meant status, failure meant being relegated to an ordinary wallflower for life. Seeing her in person, Tang San finally remembered. She'd once been Mei Gongzi's opponent and had made it into the women's round-robin stage, but had been eliminated. She wielded the divine weapon Blood Moon, a legacy divine item of the Netherman Flower Clan. San Shao was also sizing him up. She had to admit that Jean Miaolin wasn't exactly good-looking. His features were ordinary, and he looked much like any normal blue gold tree. But he had a tall, commanding build, and perhaps because of his crown prince status, he seemed to be clad in a unique aura. His eyes, in particular, were surprisingly attractive, clear, yet seemingly hiding deep, mysterious wisdom within. "Greetings, Crown Prince," she said with a polite smile, bowing lightly. Tang San smiled back. "You're too polite, Miss Shen. May I ask, what message does Her Majesty wish to convey?" But San Shao giggled. "Why are you being so polite now? Just call me San Shao. Aren't you going to invite me in for a seat first?" Tang San couldn't help but chuckle. "Pretty bold, aren't we now?" He gestured politely toward a sofa. "Please come in." She followed him into the room and sat down casually on the sofa, completely at ease. Tang San took a seat across from her. San Shao simply looked at him with a half-smile, saying nothing. What was this now? Tang San was a bit puzzled, so he asked, "Did Her Majesty perhaps send you to discuss matters about our clan's elders relocating to your territory?" San Shao replied, "More or less. But Her Majesty trusts that you'll surely take care of our clan in the future. After all, we're all part of the Solstice Empire, aren't we? Now that the Blue Gold Tree clan was neutral, they technically weren't part of the Solstice Empire anymore. But he merely nodded and didn't correct her. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor had given him a clear reminder about which side he belonged to, and he wasn't about to ruin the man's vision for now. Shen Zhao's eyes twinkled, and she leaned slightly forward. Her Majesty actually wanted me to ask something else. After tomorrow's tournament, what plans do you have? Tang San paused, then answered. Nothing in particular. I'll probably return to Skytree City and start preparations. Since our declaration of neutrality was accepted, there's a lot we have to organize and many arrangements to be made. Shen Shao asked. What about the matchmaking tournament? Clan leader Jean, do you already have a wife? The moment she said this, if Tang San still didn't understand her intent, he might as well be a block of wood. He couldn't help but chuckle again. So you're here to get to know me better. Huh. Well, sorry about that. I'm not married, but I do have someone I admire. After tomorrow's match, I plan to make my choice directly. Shen Shao paused, and seeing the smile on Tang San's face, she couldn't help but feel a tinge of disappointment. There was no doubt in her mind that she was not the one he admired. They'd barely met, and he'd never shown any special interest. It must be some great beauty that you admire then, she said teasingly. Tang San smiled. You'll find out tomorrow. Shen Shao blinked, then suddenly asked, What do you think of me? Tang San froze. Damn, you really are direct. I'm not sure whether to praise your assertiveness or tell you off for not figuring out I'm rejecting you. You are, of course, a proud daughter of the Netherman Flower clan, future heir of your emperor. Shen Shao replied. Would you consider a union then? If we were together, you'd gain the friendship of not just our clan, but also the Scorching Sunflower clan. That'd be a big help to your future, don't you think? Tang San nearly laughed out loud. This girl really knew how to advocate for herself. He gave a helpless smile. I've never really considered arranged unions. When it comes to love, I'm a bit of an idealist. I only want to be with someone I truly care for, not because of alliances or benefits. Shen Shao spread her hands in a helpless shrug and stood up. All right then, I'll take my leave. At least I tried, and I can tell my master that I gave it my best. But I have to say I am a little heartbroken. I hope we can still be friends. In the future, let's support each other. Tang San stood up as well. Looking at this confident and forthright great nymph king, he couldn't help but feel some admiration. Those who were chosen as successors by emperors really were no ordinary people. He smiled and said, It's not that I consider you to be beneath me. It's just that my heart is already taken, and cannot be given twice. You are worthy of the absolute best. Shen Shao pouted. Spare me. Don't try to soften the blow with pretty words. But tell me honestly, this person you like, does she know about it? Tang San hesitated. She probably has an idea. Shen Shao smirked. So I'm not certain. Well, I'll be frank. You Blue Gold Tree folks with your blue skin aren't exactly popular among other races. Only our Netherman Flower clan actually likes blue. Sure, you'll have the right to choose after tomorrow's match, and the girl probably won't turn you down. But what if it's one-sided? Wouldn't that be kind of sad? Tang San's mouth twitched. You're cursing me now? Shouldn't you be wishing me luck? Shen Shao rolled her eyes. Why would I? You rejected me, remember? But hey, if things go south and she turns you down, you can pick me. At least I can promise you I'll work on our relationship. Love takes time, right? Damn, are you actually offering yourself as a backup plan? Well, that's exactly it. Love might take time, but I'm willing to spend that time working on mine, Tang San said as he opened the door for her. Shen Shao huffed. You're really giving me no chance at all, huh? You don't act like a tree nymph. You're more like a stubborn rock. Fine, I'm leaving. If we don't end up as husband and wife, maybe we can be brothers in arms. The dragons keep fawning over you, but their internal factions are a complete mess. I bet our clan could help you more. We've only got one voice. Tang San chuckled. I can feel your sincerity. If I get the chance, I'll definitely visit your emperor. I'll see you tomorrow. Go win that championship and become an emperor already. See, now I'm wishing you luck. As Shen Shao walked out, she waved at him. No need to send me off. Jean Miaolin, you know something? I think I like you more now. Such a romantic idealist is hard to find these days. Watching her go, Tang San shook his head with a wry smile, only to spot, not far away, the Grand Elder, Second Elder, Third Elder, and Jean Miaosan all peeking around the corner. He shot them a glare. What are you looking at? The Grand Elder asked cautiously. Clan leader. She came to propose marriage, right? Tang San rolled his eyes. What else? Jean Miaosan immediately gave him a thumbs up. Big brother, you're incredible. Even a proud race like the Netherman Flower Clan came knocking. This is an honor for us. Are they that proud? Tang San asked curiously. Jean Miaosan rolled her eyes. I forgot your memory's bad. Before His Majesty the Sunborn came into prominence, the Netherman Flower Clan was the #1 clan in the Solstice Empire. Their heritage runs deeper than even the Scorching Sunflower Clan. Every princess of the Netherman Flower Clan is a chosen daughter of the heavens, and the dream wife of every male in the empire. Marrying into that clan means receiving the blessing of moonlight, which greatly boosts cultivation. But they have sky-high standards. If you're not a true elite, they won't even look at you. I've never heard of a Netherman princess actively proposing. More importantly, San Shao is the personal disciple of the Earthshade Nymph Emperor. She's immensely powerful, and she's known as the clan's first princess. If word gets out that you turned her down, it'll shake the ancestral court. Tang San actually didn't know much about the major nymph clans of the Solstice Empire, so this explanation was news to him. Of course, he was not about to comment on it. You're still planning to pick City Lord Mei, huh? Yeah, a crown princess sure is something else. But from what I've seen, she doesn't seem all that into you. Tang San faked a kick in her direction. Even you are raining on my parade? Alright, enough with the chit-chat. If it's nothing urgent, don't bother me. Jean Miaosan giggled. Come on, big brother. Things have changed. Back then, nobody gave us the time of day, but it was just because they had no taste. Now you've made a name for yourself across the continent. I bet every unmarried woman, whether nymph or demon, wants to marry our future emperor. Tang San shut the door. He didn't care much about his new status as the dream lover of the whole demon continent, and he didn't think others would make much noise either. But the moment he stepped out the next morning, his perspective changed dramatically. As he exited the White Tiger Hotel surrounded by the elders of the Blue Gold Tree clan, the scene that greeted him made him jump. Over 24 female nymphs and demons, all dressed in their finest garb, were waiting for him outside the hotel. The moment he appeared, they rushed toward him. The Blue Gold Tree elders tried to block them, but it was pointless. These women were all great demon kings or great nymph kings, and they were no blue gold trees. The elders were instantly pushed away, leaving a stunned Tang San smack in the middle of the chaos. The women jostled each other to get closer, some even unleashing their bloodline powers to shove rivals aside. In seconds, the energy in front of the hotel went into full upheaval. Ladies, please don't push. What are you, hey? Tang San stood helpless among the crowd, trying not to be trampled. No matter how many plans he made, he had never expected that a matchmaking tournament originally aimed at Mei Gongzi would end up backfiring on him. Now he was the one trapped in this battlefield of romance. Not even in his past lives had he encountered a scene quite that. It was quite a sight to behold. Nearly 30 women, all of them 11th order powerhouses from the major clans. A good number had even competed in the battle for the throne. In fact, of the female contestants who had made it to the round-robin stage, aside from Mei Gongzi and Lan Maqian, nearly all were present. If these ladies ganged up on him, Tang San would have no choice but to reveal all his bloodline abilities to fend them off. So, which one's the one you like? A familiar, amused voice rang out. Turning his head, Tang San saw none other than San Shao, the same person who had visited yesterday bearing the decree of the Earthshade Nymph Emperor. Right now, she was watching his predicament with a good-natured grin, clearly enjoying the show. As soon as she said that, all the surrounding female nymphs and demons turned their eyes on Tang San. Their expressions instantly became serious, and the air grew tense, almost oppressive. Tang San said helplessly, "Ladies, please. I need to get to the final match of the battle for the throne. I can't afford to be late. I will be selecting a spouse after the competition, so please allow me through. My race allows polygamy. You can choose whoever else you want and I'm available," a loud voice declared. Tang San nearly jumped in fright. The voice had come from a lady of the Golden Lion clan, a massive 2.5-meter tall great demon king with wide shoulders and a fierce gaze. In all fairness, the lion race was known for their polygamy, and then Tang San noticed, what even is this lineup? Why is there even someone from the Golden Mammoth clan? She's 3 times my height and 5 times my weight. Did she really think she was a candidate? My clan also allows people to have multiple partners. Several other voices chimed in. Tang San's face twisted into a bitter smile. Please have mercy. My heart isn't that big. It can only hold one partner. I'm a firm believer in monogamy. Please let me through. I need to get to my match. Oh, I also happen to feel the same. Would you care to choose me? Asked a woman from the Golden Unicorn clan, rushing over with a wide smile. 1. Tang San smacked his forehead. Ladies, seriously, I'm going to be late. Please move aside, please. By this point, the ancestral court's guards had arrived, but they hesitated to intervene. Even though they held high status, they were no match for this many great nymph and demon kings, not to mention all of them were from high-ranking noble clans. In the end, they could only stand by awkwardly. Monogamy is noble. My clan deeply respects those who are faithful in love, a pleasant voice said. Tang San instinctively looked over, and his eyes lit up. The speaker was a young woman who looked entirely human, like a 17 or 18-year-old girl. Her white dress accentuated her elegant, refined beauty, and her large, expressive eyes shimmered faintly with rainbow-colored light. Among all these powerful women, she was by far the most beautiful. She could be considered a peerless beauty even compared to the most beautiful representatives of the human race. Tang San remembered her. Mei Gongxi's first match in the round-robin stage had been against her. It was Nan Shuowei, great nymph king of the Rainbow Glaze clan. Nan Shuowei's glimmering eyes fell on Tang San as well. Yesterday, when the Rainbow Glaze nymph emperor asked her to get close to him, she had been reluctant. Their clan was perfectionist and placed great importance on appearance, and the Blue Gold Tree clan's blue skin had always been off-putting to them. But today, seeing this blue-skin crown prince up close, something in her changed. Perhaps it was the everybody wants him effect? Seeing all these female powerhouses chasing him, combined with everything he had shown during the tournament, suddenly, his blue skin didn't seem so hard to accept. Tang San smiled and nodded politely. Nan Shuowei responded with a respectful nod of her own. Taking advantage of the brief lull, Tang San activated the ancestral tree's imprint, releasing a wave of energy that manifested as a flash of blue-golden light. This extremely pure life energy that radiated from him instantly enveloped all the female onlookers. They immediately felt a wave of warmth flow over them, followed by a comfort that words couldn't describe. A collective shiver of pleasure passed through the group. Tang San seized that moment to break free from the siege and flash straight into his carriage. "Go!" he ordered urgently. Thanks to the gift of life bestowing and the convenient euphoria it caused, he'd finally escaped the battlefield of love and was on his way to the arena. At that moment, from the direction of the White Tiger Hotel, Mei Gongxi emerged. She had left her room just in time to witness the entire scene. The women remained in place, not chasing him. After all, they were prideful, high-status individuals. Being too forward wouldn't suit their dignity. Besides, Tang San was off to compete. They couldn't interfere with that. That felt amazing. So this is what high-level life energy feels like? No wonder he could even tame that scourge dragon. If I could bathe in that every day, I'd be able to ascend to emperor in no time, said the brawny lion woman in admiration. Nan Shuowei's eyes sparkled. As a mineral-type nymph, her need for life energy was especially great. Now, under this sudden nourishment, her whole body radiated with rainbow light. She could even feel her bloodline being refined. Master was right, she thought. This Jean Miaolin is truly exceptional. Especially for our kind of mineral nymphs, he's practically a miracle. He must have taken note of me just now, right? Among this sea of suitors, she was the most beautiful. And typically, nymphs and demons didn't intermarry. Their bloodlines clashed. Demons were better off, but nymphs, born of the world's purest essence, often found the more violent demon auras deeply unpleasant. So, if he were to choose from the nymph race, she likely had few competitors. Jiang Chanshou and Shan Shao were stronger. Yes, but neither could compare in appearance. Besides, her strength wasn't lacking, and she was heir to the Rainbow Glaze Nymph Emperor. If they were to marry, she would surely ascend the throne. Together, they could elevate the entire Rainbow Glaze clan. Let's go watch the match. Oh look, City Lord Mei is coming out. The group of women turned toward the sound. Mei Hongxi had emerged. Behind her veil, her stunning face was calm, but her eyes were unmistakably cold. She merely nodded slightly in their direction. Suddenly, Shan Shao called out, "City Lord Mei, you better go all out. You're the pride of all women. Make sure you beat that sneaky Jin Miaolin." Gasps spread through the group. Weren't you just trying to get close to Jin Miaolin? Now you're stabbing him in the back? Jealous much? Mei Gongzi glanced at Shan Shao, then nodded and said only 2 words. "I will." Everyone saw her clench her fists as she said them. Tea Council Mountain. Today's audience had arrived even earlier than usual. The seats were packed and laughter filled the air. The atmosphere was more relaxed than ever before. On the final day of the battle for the throne, the actual outcome of the match no longer really mattered to the spectators. Whether it was first or second place, both contestants would become emperors. It was just a matter of who got there first. Thus, with one finalist from among nymphs and one from among demons, both immensely popular and clearly destined to ascend, the audience was far more focused on something else. This final match also happened to be the grand finale of the matchmaking tournament. Mei Gongzi was not only a crown princess, but the very reason the matchmaking tournament was being held in the first place. The top 6 contestants in the finals all had the right to choose a spouse. Ning Chenin and Lan Maqian were already married, and they'd had their emotional moment earlier, so there was no drama there. But they were at the tail end of the top 6, and the other 4, Mei Gongzi, Jin Miaolin, Suan Yu and Jiang Chanshou, were all single. And among them, the 3 crown princes had become the talk of the ancestral court. Who would they choose? This was what the crowd was buzzing about, predicting who would pair with whom. Those with higher rankings had priority, and once a choice was made, the chosen could not refuse. This was the ironclad rule of the matchmaking tournament. All the contestants were the best of the best from Demon Continent. But currently, the most desired of all was Jin Miaolin. With his grand status and overwhelming strength, which promised a limitless future, he had become the unrivaled favorite. Today, many female spectators dressed to the nines just in case. They knew they had no chance, yet they were unwilling to miss even the slimmest possibility. Tang San finally arrived at the arena. Before entering, he had the blue gold tree elders tightly surround him, hiding him from view to avoid another battlefield of love. The 2 roads leading into the arena were lined with female nymphs and demons. They were not as strong as those that had surrounded him earlier, and they didn't dare break through the ancestral court guard's defense line, but they still called his name loudly from outside. Only after entering the tunnel leading to the platform holding the crown prince thrones did Tang San finally exhale in relief. This matchmaking tournament is really starting to feel like it was set up for me. As he walked out of the tunnel and approached the waiting area, a figure suddenly appeared before him. Tang San blinked in surprise. It was none other than the 4th place finisher in the battle for the throne, Jiang Chanshou. She wore a pale apricot dress, and her long hair was flowing loosely behind her. Gone was the fierceness of the warrior who once burned her blood in battle. Now she looked calm and gentle. Why am I even surprised? Since the others came, how could she not show up? If the Netherman Flower Clan Shan Shao knocked on my door, why not Jiang Chanshou from the Scorching Sunflower Clan? Deputy City Lord Jiang, is something the matter? Tang San asked, feigning ignorance. Jiang Chanshou was the Deputy City Lord of Solar City, so he addressed her formally, as he had never met her before. She hesitated, her cheeks flushed, and she lowered her gaze, not daring to meet his eyes. Gone was the overwhelming aura she had once displayed on the battlefield. His Majesty the Sunborn asked me to tell you that, if we were to become one family, the undying golden body would be my dowry, and in the future, I could assist you in becoming the ruler of the ancestral court. Tang San's eyes widened slightly. Now that's a big move, Sunborn Nymph Emperor. The undying golden body was one thing, but becoming the ancestral court's ruler? That was an offer few could ignore. Had this come from any other emperor, it might have been an empty promise. But this was the Sunborn Nymph Emperor, currently the strongest individual in the ancestral court and undisputed ruler of the Solstice Empire. His words carried immense weight. It was a bold declaration. First, it meant he believed Tang San had the potential to become the ancestral court's leader. Second, he hoped to solidify their alliance through marriage. Jiang Chuncho's status within the Scorching Sunflower clan was unquestionable. Her achievements in this tournament alone placed her just below the Emperor Seeds, much higher than even the Scorching King, who was technically her superior. She was clearly favored by the Sunborn Nymph Emperor, otherwise she wouldn't be entrusted with the undying golden body. Please thank His Majesty on my behalf. Whenever he has need, Jean Miaolin will not hesitate to charge into fire or water on his behalf, Tang San replied with a polite nod. Jiang Chuncho finally looked up. Just as she opened her mouth to respond, a cold voice rang out from behind Tang San. Move! You're in the way. Tang San's eyes widened. He quickly stepped aside, an awkward smile spreading across his face. Mei Gongzi strode past him without even a glance, head held high. I'm so dead. Tang San's heart clenched. This life's beloved was far more assertive than the one in his previous life. Explaining this later was going to be rough, and that was in the best-case scenario. Jiang Chuncho whispered. Didn't think about it. Good luck in the match. Thank you, Tang San replied with a nod. Given the Sunborn Nymph Emperor's involvement, he had to at least show courtesy, Jiang Chuncho added. And you can just call me Chuncho from now on. Her face blushing, she turned and hurried away. Tang San stood there for a moment, then rolled his eyes skyward and walked toward the waiting area. The arena erupted in cheers. Naturally, this was for Mei Gongzi, who had just entered the waiting area. Tang San quickly followed. The cheering from Mei Gongzi hadn't yet faded when his own arrival triggered an even louder wave of excitement. This time, the female voices drowned out the male ones completely. Smiling, Tang San waved toward the crowd. But just as he was walking up to his throne, a sudden deafening shout erupted from the stands. Pierre Chisme! Tang San tripped on the stairs. The entire arena exploded in laughter and cheers. Clearly, the female audience had rehearsed this. They'd waited for the perfect moment to shout in unison, each hoping, even playfully, to grab his attention. Tang San glanced toward Mei Gongzi's throne. She sat there with a perfectly plain expression as though she'd heard nothing at all. Good, Tang San thought. Let's hope she didn't notice. Then, the voice of the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor rang out across the arena. It seems our Crown Prince Jean is quite popular. But don't get too excited, everyone. If he loses today's match, the right to choose first won't be his. That snapped the crowd's attention to Mei Gongzi. Indeed, she had never lost a match until now. So if she won this final match, she would have the right to choose. Mei Gongzi stood and turned toward Council Mountain, and her voice rang out clearly. Your Majesty, may we begin? The Celestial Fox Demon Emperor paused briefly, then nodded. This is the final match of the battle for the throne, and the final match of the matchmaking tournament as well. Jean Miaolin, champion of the losers bracket, challenges Mei Gongzi, champion of the winners bracket. Contestants ascend. He stopped for a moment, then added, if either of you would like to concede, there's still time. Tang San rose and walked over to Mei Gongzi, intending to say a few words to appease the tigress before the battle, but she didn't spare him a glance. Without a word, she took to the skies. Tang San quickly followed, soaring upward after her. Two figures soared simultaneously from the platform halfway up Council Mountain. They were none other than the strongest beings from the Empyrean Dominion and the Solstice Empire, the Undying Demon Emperor and the Sunborn Nymph Emperor. For the final battle of the battle for the throne to be overseen by these two most powerful emperors was undoubtedly the perfect arrangement. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor glanced at both Tang San and Mei Gongzi. You are both already crown princes. The future belongs to you. Although this is the final match, I hope you both will show restraint. Tang San and Mei Gongzi bowed slightly in acknowledgement. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor announced, both sides prepare. Before the echo of his words dissipated, and before the audience could even quiet down, a blood-red beam shot into the sky. A terrifying aura pierced through the heavens in an instant. Blazing crimson flames lit up the entire sky, radiating an overwhelming sense of majesty that made both the Sunborn Nymph Emperor and the undying demon emperor change expression. The sunborn nymph emperor opened his mouth slightly. Whoa, so now you're ignoring me. Tang San was no less dumbfounded at this moment. Opposite him, Mei Gongzi's entire body was ablaze with blood-red flames. Though she hadn't summoned the Azura sword, the scarlet beam erupting skyward was unmistakably sword intent. She seemed to be activating every bit of power within her to power that sword intent. In just moments, the power she radiated had already surpassed the level that had forced Ning Chenen to surrender earlier. Clearly, her synchronization with the Azura sword had deepened significantly, but was she really going to strike Tang San with that? Under the ignition of her entire bloodline's power, the Azura sword emitted an unprecedented sense of majesty. It was an aura of pure supremacy, as if it alone stood above all. Even with the two emperors' energy barrier still in place, Tang San could feel the sword intent of judgment radiating from it. The black tortoise shield appeared at once. Tang San infused it with life energy, and the surface of the shield transformed again into a black vortex. But this time the vortex was moving rather weakly, almost as if it was trembling, shivering with fear. Even an artifact as mighty as the black tortoise shield was terrified of the Azura sword. The two emperors exchanged glances, and only then did the sunborn nymph emperor solemnly declare, "Begin." The energy barrier instantly vanished, and the overwhelming sword intent of the Azura sword descended upon Tang San. The terrifying force sent ripples across the surface of the black tortoise shield. Behind Tang San, an illusory crystal dragon emerged. Streams of water gathered from all directions, pouring into the black tortoise shield. Mei Gongzi's eyes were grave as she stepped forward in midair, both hands now gripping the Azura shadow sword. Then she slashed down toward Tang San. At that moment, it was as if the sky had been split in twain by the crimson beam. Red light flashed and fell instantly. Tang San hid behind the black tortoise shield, whose surface now shimmered with flowing water. In the massive roar that followed, the black tortoise shield seemed to transform into a vast sea, its endless waves clashing against the crimson blade of sword intent. Yet that blade slashed through the waves like they were nothing. Tang San was blasted 1,000 meters back before he could stabilize himself. That one strike, driven by Mei Gongzi's burning bloodline power, would have reached the emperor level even if she were wielding a random stick. And what she was wielding was the Azura sword. In truth, the Azura sword could never truly harm Tang San, since he was also one of its masters. But the black tortoise shield wasn't Tang San, and when something blocked its path, the Azura sword showed no mercy. Tang San held the divine seat of the sea god, making his control over water incredibly strong. Combined with the black tortoise shield and the bloodline force of the endless nymph emperor simulated through the crystal dragon, he had unleashed a tremendous defense. Yet after withstanding Mei Gongzi's heaven-rending slash, a crack had still appeared on the surface of the black tortoise shield. And this was the strongest defensive divine item in this world. Even though this wasn't the true Azura sword, it had still damaged the shield, a testament to just how powerful that strike was. The blood flames around Mei Gongzi surged again, and her aura swelled explosively. She was burning everything she had, igniting the flame of life. Under this stimulation, the Azura shadow sword burst into even more dazzling brilliance. Terrifying sword intent filled the skies, making the azure take a faint red hue. Tang San even vaguely felt the presence of the actual Azura sword. Perhaps because it was already nearing planet Phelan, or perhaps because Mei Gongzi's outburst of power was strengthening their connection enough for her to use its true power. "No, you'll damage your essence," Tang San shouted urgently, unable to care about anything else. Even though Phoenix Nirvana could recover all injuries, if her life essence was burned too deeply, it would be incredibly difficult to restore. Mei Gongzi's usage of the Azura sword risked permanently shortening her lifespan, to the extent where not even blue gold fruits could restore it. After all, Tang San wasn't truly a member of the Blue Gold Tree clan, so he couldn't produce emperor-level blue gold fruits in the future. But Mei Gongzi paid him no heed. She raised the Azura sword once more. Tang San's mouth twitched. "Don't do it. I surrender. Stop burning your life away." There was nothing more important than his wife's life. In their past life, why had Xiao Wu fallen? It was because after giving birth to their son, in order to ensure the child's survival, She had absorbed most of the destructive energy of the Golden Dragon King within him into herself, injuring her life essence. Even as a god, wounds to life essence were extremely troublesome. At that time, the God realm was also dealing with the ravages of cosmic turbulence. As the Supreme God King, Tang San had to devote himself entirely to protecting the realm, leaving no time to carefully examine his wife's condition. Later, when the God realm was drawn into a black hole, he fought to save it, and by the time he realized something was wrong with her body, it was already irreversible. So now, when he saw Mei Gongzi burning her life essence just to defeat him, he could no longer care about anything else. He immediately surrendered. He would rather face all the emperors at once than let his beloved suffer even the slightest harm again. Seeing the worry and urgency on his face, Mei Gongzi's stern expression softened slightly. The blood-red glow of the Azura shadow sword gradually faded to crimson black. Tang San turned to the two emperors in the sky and said helplessly, "I concede." The sun-born nymph emperor's mouth twitched. Without a doubt, Jean Miaolin had been the most underestimated contender in this tournament, yet he'd made it all the way to the finals. He was representing nymphs, and at least for now, the Blue Gold Tree clan was not a neutral clan. Naturally, the sunborn nymph emperor hoped Jean Miaolin would win, bringing glory to the nymph races. But this dumb kid had conceded after just one strike, even after withstanding it. His shield was damaged, yes, but its defense had already proven extraordinary. Clearly, with the way Mei Gongzi was burning herself, 3 strikes would have been her limit. If he had just endured 3 attacks, he would have been champion. But instead, he had chosen to yield for the sake of love. A future emperor of the Empyrean Dominion burning her life essence would benefit the Solstice Empire. No? And Mei Gongzi clearly had no interest in him romantically. What was the point of this chivalrous act? The undying demon emperor, on the other hand, was in an excellent mood, and he had to try hard to contain his joy. Very well. The final champion of this battle for the throne is Mei Gongzi of the Peacock Demon Clan, Lord of Kali City. Congratulations! Only now did the blood-red glow around Mei Gongzi's body fully dissipate. The veil on her face had already been burned away when she ignited her life essence to empower the Azura sword, and her peerless beauty was now uncovered for everyone to see. She bowed respectfully to the two emperors in the sky, then directly flew back to her seat, not sparing a glance to Tang San. Tang San felt bitter. According to his original plan, he was supposed to defeat Mei Gongzi and win the championship. Then, relying on the privilege of choosing first in the matchmaking tournament as the champion, he would directly choose Mei Gongzi. That way, even if she didn't know his true identity, she would have no choice, and no clues would be revealed to the emperors. Once they returned, he could reveal himself to her, and everything would naturally be resolved. But now Mei Gongzi had won. The right of first choice belonged to her, and that was troublesome. If she chose not to pick anyone, it might be allowed, but it would certainly draw disapproval from the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor and other emperors who doubted her loyalty. This would inevitably cause problems down the line. The entire matchmaking tournament would have been for nothing. Moreover, she was the reason the tournament was even held, so the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor might very well demand she make a choice on the spot. Even someone as astute as Tang San felt unsure of what to do. He had planned everything carefully, and the whole tournament had proceeded according to his strategy, only to be tripped up at the very end by his beloved wife. Now he had no choice but to fly back to his throne and think of contingencies. The Celestial Fox Demon Emperor and the other emperors had already left their pavilions. With a smiling face, the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor announced, "The battle for the throne has officially concluded. I hereby declare that Mei Gongzi, Lord of Kali City, has won the final championship and earned the highest priority for support in ascending to emperorhood from the ancestral court. Jean Miaolin of the Blue Gold Tree clan takes second priority, and Suan Yu of the Radiant Dragon clan the third. Jiang Chancho of the Scorching Sunflower clan, Lan Maqian of the Behemoth clan, and Ning Chenin of the Golden Mammoth clan are designated as alternate candidates. Suan Yu has reported to the ancestral court that he will enter temporary seclusion. As for the remaining crown princes and alternates, please ascend Council Mountain." Suan Yu had told Tang San that he would enter closed-door cultivation immediately, and it seemed that he was being very serious about it. The holy energy Tang San had granted to the light sprite was extremely important to him. If he managed to reproduce it, that would prove monumental for his path to becoming an emperor. Thus, he had promptly reported his seclusion and given up the opportunity to choose a mate through the tournament. Tang San glanced at Mei Gongzi, but she had already taken to the air, flying toward Council Mountain. He could only hurry to follow. Jiang Chanchou, Ning Chunen, and Lan Maqian also flew up from the spectator stands toward Council Mountain. Although the three of them had not become crown princes, if Tang San, Mei Gongzi, or Suan Yu failed to ascend or met with an accident in the future, they could step in as replacements. This was precisely why 6 contestants had been admitted to the final stage. Flying to the mountainside of Council Mountain and standing before the gathered emperors, looking down at the arena and ancestral court, they all felt a sense of overlooking the world. All spectators had now risen to their feet. The celestial fox demon emperor smiled and said, "Congratulations to all of you, and especially to the 2 new crown princes. I look forward to welcoming you into our ranks in the near future." With the status they had and the power they had shown, even the emperors present could no longer maintain the same aloofness before Tang San and Mei Gongzi. The talent they had displayed in this battle for the throne marked them as future legends. Everyone understood that once they ascended to emperorhood, they would not be ordinary emperors. Those lower in ranking would naturally be surpassed. The Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor stood somewhat at a distance, struggling to stop himself from crying. He had once believed that becoming an emperor was the proudest achievement of his life, and also his greatest regret. He never imagined his own daughter would also attain such an exalted status and walk a smooth path to becoming an emperor. And she was still so young. Surely, she would reach the pinnacle of emperorhood and far surpass his achievements, and maybe even the achievements of his granduncle. At this moment, his heart was overwhelmed with emotion. While the Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor didn't dare show his feelings, the White Tiger Demon Emperor had no such restraints. He strode up, laughing heartily, and gave his granddaughter a big hug. "My dear little girl, well done. As expected of my granddaughter. Congratulations on becoming the final champion. Your grandpa expects you to become the strongest emperor in the world someday." The other emperors smiled helplessly. It sure sounded like flowery words of encouragement from grandfather to granddaughter, but after witnessing Mei Gongzi's terrifying burst of blood-red flames from the Azura sword, who could say she couldn't reach that goal? The Celestial Fox Demon Emperor felt that this strike could even threaten his life. He had little combat power, so when facing an enemy, he relied on interfering with the opponent's fortune to evade attacks, and cause their own power to backfire. But when the Azura sword released its divine aura, he sensed a power that even his fortune manipulation couldn't touch. Thus, even now, his gaze toward Mei Gongzi had become noticeably more cordial. "White Tiger, quit showing off," the Undying Demon Emperor grumbled, thinking, "She's my granddaughter too." He was already thinking of giving the Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor a good scolding afterward. If not for that fool abandoning his wife and child, this girl could have rightfully carried the Phoenix banner instead of the peacock one. But either way, the Phoenix race would soon have 3 emperors. That was a matter of course. As the champion of the battle for the throne, Mei Gongzi's ascension was all but assured. One by one, the emperors stepped forward to congratulate her, and Mei Gongzi responded to each with polite courtesy. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor walked over to Tang San, glared at him, and sent him a divine consciousness message. "You, what am I supposed to say to you? Are you ready to pick someone? Didn't Jiang Chunshou talk to you already?" Tang San wore a bitter expression. Having lost the right of first choice, he was a bundle of nerves. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor was speaking to him now, but without the ability to choose Mei Gongzi, things were incredibly tricky. "Sunborn, you're not allowed to show favoritism," a cold voice cut in. The Earthshade Nymph Emperor walked over, linked arms with the Sunborn Nymph Emperor, and promptly dragged him away. Naturally, the other emperors observed this interaction. More than one cast a smile in Tang San's direction. Even though he had not won the championship, in the eyes of the emperors, he was in fact much more important than Mei Gongzi. The Blue Gold Tree clan was on the verge of becoming a neutral clan with an exalted status. Combined with the extraordinary talent Tang San had displayed, being the ancestral tree's direct descendant, inheriting the Crystal Demon Emperor's replication ability, commanding a powerful Scourge Dragon, and having grasped holy energy and a mysterious life-destruction combination, he was already demonstrating the makings of a future master of the ancestral court. His control over the power of life was nearly on par with the celestial fox demon emperor's control over fortune, and his personal combat prowess far exceeded the latter's. More importantly, the celestial fox demon emperor was already past 1,000 years of age, an unusually long lifespan for a celestial fox. Once he passed, who would be most suited to lead the ancestral court? Demons had held this position for many years, but nymphs had always yearned for it. If Tang San became powerful enough, all nymph emperors would surely support him in seizing that seat. This was one of the key reasons the sun-born nymph emperor had sent Jiang Chancho to approach him. Whoever could marry into his family would enjoy tremendous benefits in the future, both for her personally and for her clan. With both the Sunborn and Earthshade nymph emperors standing by his side, the other emperors were unable to make any further moves. Still, the looks in their eyes toward Tang San were full of intense desire. After all, who wouldn't want a piece of such a hot commodity? The celestial fox demon emperor smiled and said, "All right, with the battle for the throne concluded, we now move on to another important part of this tournament. All of you, crown princes and backup candidates alike, are paragons of the new generation and the future of our realm. Your offspring will also carry great significance. I hope each of you will find a companion you're truly drawn to. For our two crown princes in particular, I must emphasize this. While your current cultivation is already high, the road to becoming an emperor is still long and treacherous. Finding a suitable partner is critical. A good match can provide immense aid in overcoming the tribulation. For instance, if your partner is a celestial fox great demon king, a member of our clan with 8 tails, they can channel our clan's fortune to assist you in your tribulation, reducing the difficulty by at least 30%. With the fortune of an 8-tailed celestial fox, your ascension to emperor would be nearly guaranteed. As of now, there are only 4 such great demon kings in our clan, and unfortunately, all of them are female. Jean Miaolin, if you're willing, I can offer you all 4 of them as your wives. You are extraordinarily talented, yes, but your capabilities are too multifaceted, which is a dangerous trait when facing tribulation. With the support of 4 8-tailed celestial foxes, you would surely succeed. Fellow emperors, I ask for your understanding. My recommendation certainly has some personal bias in it, but the main reason is the importance of Jean Miaolin's ascension to emperorhood. For all of us and for the entire ancestral court, I have conducted divination based on the power of fortune surrounding the Blue Gold Tree clan, and here is the answer. If the Blue Gold Tree clan produces an emperor, the life energy they control could extend our lives by at least 5 centuries each. I hope you understand that we cannot take chances here. Originally, the Sunborn Nymph Emperor was already about to lose his temper at the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor's blatant proposition to give Tang San 4 fox wives. But upon hearing the latter part, he fell silent. What the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor said was indeed true. If Jean Miaolin were to ascend, it would be of tremendous benefit to all current emperors. With him extending their lifespan by 500 years and gathering life energy for the ancestral court, his importance would rival the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor's own influence over fate. Especially for the emperors that were getting close to the end of their lifespan, 5 more centuries of life was something priceless. By now, Tang San had already calmed from his earlier frustration. Hearing the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor's words, he cursed the wily old fox in his heart. So this was the trap. No wonder not a single Fox clan woman had come to approach him. This master of destiny had planned this all along. And he really was going all in, offering all 4 of his great demon kings at once. But the fox had a point. Cultivating fortune was indeed extremely difficult. He himself had the discerning eye of heaven, and he knew all too well that fortune only partially correlated with talent or insight, and was in fact a separate and elusive force. If the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor fell in the future due to old age, one of those 4 8-tailed foxes would surely succeed him. By giving them all to Tang San, he was essentially entrusting the entire future of the Celestial Fox clan and the fox race to him, in a massive gesture of recognition. As Tang San looked at the old fox smiling slyly at him, he found himself at a loss for how to politely decline. But at that moment someone interjected. "Your Majesties, I am the champion of this tournament, And the matchmaking contest was held for me. Shouldn't I be the first to choose? The speaker was none other than Mei Gongzi. Her expression was calm and poised. As the first crown princess, her words carried authority even among emperors. The celestial fox demon emperor laughed heartily. Of course, of course. Have you made your decision? Mei Gongzi turned toward the arena below. From where Tang San was, he could only see the side of her face. Bathed in sunlight, her flawless skin was tinged with a golden hue. Dazzlingly beautiful, stunning beyond words. All the emperors focused their attention on her. While her importance to the ancestral court wasn't quite equal to Tang San's, she was still the absolute champion of the tournament. That blood-red divine sword she wielded had left a deep impression. If she used it to ascend, she could very well lead the Peacock Demon clan to new heights. Tang San tensed. In front of so many emperors, he couldn't give her any signal. If she declared that she wasn't choosing anyone, the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor might apply pressure on her. But it was out of his hands. He had lost, after all. Today I will choose my husband, Mei Gongzi declared. And my future husband may only take me as his wife. Any woman who dares approach my husband, be she demon, nymph, or anything else, better be prepared to die. Her words exuded killing intent. Even as she spoke, her Azura Hell domain radiated across Council Mountain. It didn't feel like a selection, it was more like a declaration of dominion. Tang San felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Compared to her past life, this version of her was far more commanding and fierce. The emperors were stunned as well. Recalling the moment when Mei Gongzi had ignited her life essence to slash at Jean Mirolan, even they felt a chill. Some suspected she had more to say. If an emperor tried to take her husband, she might really cause another emperor's seat to be vacated. Have you made your decision? The Celestial Fox Demon Emperor asked once more.
Mei Gongzi nodded.
My husband must be able to keep up with me, and be of help to my clan. I've made my choice. You have. Even Tang San couldn't help exclaiming. Could it be that she'd publicly choose his human identity? That would bring tremendous pressure. She could even be stripped of her crown prince title. Oh, and who have you chosen? For our crown princess to make a choice, this person must surely be exceptional, the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor said with a smile. Mei Gongzi replied coolly. Honestly, by the time I came here, I hadn't made up my mind. But I must thank you, Your Majesty. Since you were willing to offer him 4 eight-tailed celestial foxes, he must be outstanding. You control the fate of the world, so I believe in your choice. At first, the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor smiled brightly. But as the meaning of her words sunk in, his expression froze. He had planned this meticulously the moment Tang San entered the finals. He would stop at nothing to secure this union with the Blue Gold Tree clan. But in the end, he had been completely outplayed. Tang San stared at Mei Gongzi in shock. He pointed at her, then at his own face. What? You choose me? Mei Gongzi shot him a cold look. Yes, I choose you. Didn't you like me or something? Well, there's your chance. Since all the emperors think you're so amazing, I suppose you're qualified to be my husband. Weren't you about to kill me just now? And now you say you choose me? Tang San exclaimed, disbelief all over his face. I was about to kill you. In fact, I still might, Mei Gongzi answered coldly, then turned away without another glance. It was now obvious she had recognized him. He didn't even know when he'd slipped up, but clearly he had. In any case, he could only smile awkwardly. Since she had chosen him and made such a bold and public declaration beforehand, he wouldn't need to reject any marriage offers himself. She had already done it on his behalf. Good. A union between 2 crown princes is the best choice. Only the 2 of you are worthy of each other. The undying demon emperor was the first to speak, a look of complete satisfaction on his face. Just yesterday, he had personally tried to persuade Mei Gongzi, and at the time she seemed entirely unwilling. Yet today she had directly made her choice, apparently spurred on by the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor. The White Tiger Demon Emperor also smiled and said, Indeed, very good. This Jean Mirolan is worthy of being my granddaughter's husband. The Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor, however, frowned slightly. Without a doubt, Jean Mirolan had been the most dazzling figure in the entire tournament, but his blue skin was undeniably unattractive. As a father, he placed great value on whether his daughter's future husband was well-matched in all aspects. The celestial fox demon emperor's expression gradually returned to normal, though he wore a look of helplessness. Worthy indeed. Even he, at this point, could no longer stop this marriage. The victor of the matchmaking tournament had absolute authority to choose their partner, and the chosen party could not refuse. Even as the runner-up, Jin Miaolin had no choice. Since Mei Gongzi had chosen him, then he would become her husband, and that was that. In the eyes of the other emperors and even Jiang Chanshou, it appeared as if Mei Gongzi had fought desperately to defeat Jin Miaolin for this very purpose. And on a second thought, wasn't that the perfect plan? While others were trying every trick to get close to Jin Miaolin, even offering all kinds of favors and concessions, Mei Gongzi only had to win. And once she did, Jin Miaolin was hers. Just like that. No one else even got the chance. Mei Gongzi's gaze swept across the assembled emperors. Since all of your majesties approve, does that mean I can make this official? Of course you can, the undying demon emperor said with a smile. In times he felt no need to hold back. His new favorite granddaughter was the number 1 crown princess, and her would-be husband was number 2. Soon their family wouldn't just have 4 emperors but 5. Their influence would reach unprecedented heights. Only then did Mei Gongzi turn back and return to Tang San's side. As she looked at him, Tang San suddenly felt nervous for no reason. After all, who knew how his precious wife might punish him once they were alone? Judging by how hard she'd slashed at him earlier, she had been very angry. Before the platform halfway up Council Mountain, in front of all the demon and nymph emperors and the countless spectators of the tournament, Mei Gongzi locked eyes with Tang San. Her crisp, clear voice rang out for everyone to hear. Let us get married. As expected of the number 1 crown princess, oozing confidence and dominance. Tang San's expression was slightly odd. Wasn't this supposed to be his role? To kneel on one knee and propose to her with flowers and all that? This wasn't how things had played out in his plan at all. For the first time, a satisfied smirk appeared on Mei Gongzi's cold face. She lifted her chin slightly upward like a proud peacock and extended her hand to Tang San. Tang San didn't take her hand right away. Instead, he approached her and retrieved a necklace from his storage ring, gently placing it around her neck. Only then did he grasp her hand. I vow to share my life with you. From now on, we will be forever together in body and soul. Mei Gongzi's lips twitched, as if she was trying not to smile, and she rolled her eyes at him. Obviously, she was not impressed by his lines. Then she turned toward the audience and declared loudly, "From this day forth, he is mine. The rest of you, don't even think about it." Tang San was both amused and helpless. As for the emperors around them, many wore awkward expressions. That line was clearly meant for them. They had all been trying to propose marriage alliances with Jin Miaolin. Congratulations to the 2 crown princes. Congratulations to the 2 crown princes. A wave of congratulatory voices rose in succession. In this battle for the throne, the audience had personally witnessed the rise of 3 crown princes. They had defeated countless formidable foes and earned the highest honors. Originally, Tang San seemed to be the greatest beneficiary. But now, thanks to Mei Gongzi using the matchmaking tournament rules to wed him, it appeared the true winner was Mei Gongzi with her Peacock Demon clan. With this union, the Peacock Demon clan would go from having no emperor to gaining 2. The difference was night and day. With the first and second place taken, and Suan Yu absent today, it was Jiang Chanshou's turn to choose. But she declined to pick anyone, forfeiting her chance. As for Ning Chenen and Lan Maqian, they were already a couple, and much like the first 2, they did not welcome anyone else into their household. Thus, the battle for the throne and the matchmaking tournament came to a close. When Luo Qingzhu and Su Qin saw Tang San and Mei Gongzi holding hands as they descended from Council Mountain, they both wore expressions of utter shock. Even though they had already begun to suspect something, the reality still seemed unbelievable. They both knew Tang San, especially Su Qin. When Tang San was just a boy, he used to come to her milk tea shop. She thought she understood him well and knew his capabilities. But not even in her wildest dreams could she have imagined that the one who had recently shaken the entire demon continent, the Blue Gold Tree clan leader and lord of Sky Tree City, was actually Tang San in disguise. When she saw them holding hands, Su Qin's shock was beyond words. She knew her daughter's personality only too well. Mei Gongzi was fiercely independent, and she would never ever bend her principles for the sake of interest. Matters of love were no exception. There was no way she had chosen Jean Miaolin because of something the celestial fox demon emperor said. And in that case, there could only be one explanation. "Mom, let's talk later," Mei Gongzi said quickly. Her expression remained calm, but she didn't let go of Tang San's hand. It had been too long since she'd held it. Tang San now felt fully at peace. As he mentally reviewed all he had done, he was confident he had leaked no secrets. Luo Qingzhu didn't know Tang San as well, so she was even more astonished seeing the two of them together. She couldn't help but say, "Little Mei, don't force yourself for the clan's sake. You becoming a crown princess is already the greatest fortune our peacock demon clan could hope for."
Mei Gongzi gently nodded.
"Mom, don't worry. I know exactly what I'm doing." This wasn't the time to explain more. Once they exited the arena, they entered the peacock demon clan's luxurious carriage under the protection of the ancestral court's elite guard. The four of them sat together. Just as Su Qin was about to speak, Mei Gongzi raised a hand in a hush gesture. Tang San waved his hand. A gentle wave of energy enveloped the carriage, wrapping it like flowing water. It was the power of the black tortoise shield. In his hands, this divine item had endless applications. "All clear," Tang San said. Luo Qingzhu looked confused. "What are you two hiding? Little Mei, are you really going to be with clan leader Jean? Then." Tang San smiled and said, "Your Majesty, allow me to show you a little magic trick." As he spoke, his blue skin and facial features began to change. Even his aura changed. The strong life energy vanished, replaced by a calm stillness. When Luo Qingzhu saw Jean Miaolin transform into Tang San, her jaw dropped. She looked back and forth between him and Mei Gongzi, speechless. Although she already knew Tang San was extraordinary, she had never expected him to pull something. Somehow, without anyone being any the wiser, he had become a fully recognized city lord of the ancestral court, and had turned the entire demon continent upside down. He had earned the ancestral tree's recognition, slain the adamant nymph emperor, completed his evaluation as Skytree City Lord, helped the Blue Gold Tree clan become neutral and a target of favor for all factions, and even come second in the battle for the throne. She had watched Jean Miaolin's matches herself, seen him advance round after round, yet through it all, he had never used any of Tang San's signature abilities. And he had still made it to the finals, only to lose to Mei Gongzi. Seeing that he had now returned to his true appearance as Tang San, Mei Gongzi finally let out a long sigh of relief, even though she had been confident all along. Tang San looked at her and said with a bitter smile, "How did you figure it out? I really don't think I exposed any flaws. I originally planned to win the championship today, defeat you, and choose you right away. That would have been the safest plan. I never thought you'd go all in and risk your life. You scared me half to death." Serves you right. I couldn't reach you all these days. Do you know how anxious I was? If I didn't beat you up, it wouldn't have calmed my anger," Mei Gongzi snapped. "Then how did you recognize me?" Tang San asked with an apologetic smile. Mei Gongzi replied, "It was Grandpa. Yesterday, when second Grandpa tried to persuade me to consider you, I refused. But Grandpa fully supported me. That's when I began to suspect something. I went back and thought through the previous matches, and every time we talked, and I grew increasingly certain. As I know you well, you never do anything without absolute confidence. And anything you promise, you'll do your best to deliver. You promised you'd participate in this tournament, so you definitely would. If you had lost, you'd have contacted me right away and found another way. But you never contacted me, and I know you wouldn't have gotten into trouble during the matches. There's absolutely no way you'd get beaten by a golden wolf or whatever. So after I calmed down and analyzed everything, I concluded that you had to be among the ones who made it through. The deeper into the tournament you went, the more abilities you revealed, as if you had endless trump cards. That made me suspect it was you. It seemed unbelievable, but I thought, isn't that the exact point? If even I couldn't figure it out, then others definitely couldn't. Today, I burned my life essence to strike you once more to confirm it. Part of it was to see whether you would let me harm myself, and the other part was to let the Azura sword get into contact with you. Even though the strike landed on your shield, in that moment, the sword sensed your aura up close and confirmed your identity. It was a pretty simple tactic, really. If it was you, then the Azura sword would not have harmed you, and if it was the real Jin Mirolan, then well, too bad for him. Tang San sighed. So it was the White Tiger Demon Emperor who gave me away. Yes, only he knew my true identity. Sunborn told me once that 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. Seems like he was pretty spot on, wasn't he? Anyway, please don't be mad anymore. The battle for the throne was the focus of the entire continent. If I had revealed my identity to you, then during the competition, or if we faced each other, or if I was pushed into a tough spot by another competitor, as it happened with Su and you, I was afraid you might give something away. I wasn't really afraid of others noticing, but the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor is something else. He controls the continent's fortune, and his perception is tied to that fortune. Since our fortune is connected, even a tiny slip-up could have exposed me. Humph. Mei Gongzi turned her head away, still upset, though she gripped his hand a little tighter. How could she not understand that Tang San had been under far more pressure during this competition than she had? He couldn't use his strongest abilities and still had to win. It was incredibly difficult. And in the later stages, he had even eliminated powerful enemies on her behalf to ensure she wouldn't face Su and Yu, clearing the way for her to become a crown princess. Tang San also gripped her hand tightly, then looked across at the 2 mothers who still hadn't recovered from their shock. His face was bright, and for the first time in a long time, he gave a completely carefree smile. The most difficult part is behind us. From now on, no one can decide our fate for us. And when we become emperors, that will be the moment we ascend to the heavens. Mei Gongzi looked at his radiant smile, and the anger on her face finally faded. Yes, both of them were proper emperor seeds now and properly engaged too. The greatest danger had passed. What should we do next? Mei Gongzi asked Tang San. Tang San replied, you should return to Kali City as soon as possible. Things should be almost ready on that end so you can start preparing for our people's migration overseas via teleportation. Wait for me there. Mei Gongzi instantly grew anxious. You're not coming with us? We're parting again. Tang San said, Hey, don't worry. I may not go back with you, but I promise I'll teleport to your side every day, even if it's just for a short while. The thing is, I can't leave the ancestral court just yet, at least not in an official capacity. Next, I need to handle the matter of establishing the Blue Gold Tree Elders Dispatch. That'll raise my standing in the ancestral court. After all, when I undergo my emperor's tribulation in the future, it'll cause a massive commotion and be quite dangerous. I'll need help from other emperors to succeed. So, I still need to maintain the Jin Mirolan identity. At the same time, I'll also dispatch Blue Gold Tree Elders to the Sky Tree Realm to help humans enhance their life energy. That's an essential step for setting a proper foundation. That celestial pillar I won at the auction is also very important for the same reason. I believe that I can commune with it and extract some information from it that would be beneficial to humanity as a whole. Once I finish these tasks, I'll head to Kali City openly and officially marry you as Jin Mirolan. Then we'll build up strength and prepare for the tribulation to become emperors. There's no need to rush the tribulation, is there? You're both still young. Take time to build a solid foundation. I've heard an emperor's tribulation is extremely dangerous, said Su Qin. Tang San shook his head. At this point, it's not about building foundations. We just need to follow the right opportunity. My tribulation will be different from others. I can only succeed when the timing is perfect. Little Mei has fused with the Azura sword, so she faces a similar challenge. We'll most likely have to face it within a year. Su Qin's heart clenched. Only a year? That's soon. Tang San nodded. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll make thorough preparations. With this life bond necklace, I should be able to undergo the tribulation together with her, so we can support each other. Su Qin was about to say more, but Luo Qingzhu spoke first. Sister, what are you still worried about? He brought my dead husband back to life. He managed to become Jin Mirolan and fooled all the emperors, even becoming the most sought-after city lord. And he's now an emperor seed as a human. If he did that, then what can't he do? Right now, Luo Qingzhu felt her worldview had been completely overturned. As she thought back over everything Jin Mirolan had done, She was speechless with awe. Her own husband was a brilliant man, a true genius of his generation. But compared to his plans, Tang San's plans were on an entirely different order of magnitude. Even though she didn't understand exactly how Tang San had accomplished all of it, the fact of the matter was that he had faced one challenge after another and succeeded. Without using his own signature powers, he had defeated every opponent. Everything he did seemed nothing short of miraculous. Su Qin took a deep breath and smiled brightly. "You're right. I was worrying too much. Tang San, everything you've done is beyond words." Tang San's gaze grew deeper. "During my travels, I crossed the endless blue sea and experienced many things in the Solstice Empire. I've gained a lot. Now that the battle for the throne is over, there shouldn't be any more major threats." Mei Gongzi asked, "How will we arrange our time after this? When will you come to Kali City officially?" Tang San replied, "I'll probably stay in the ancestral court for another month or so to finish discussions with the emperors about the Blue Gold Tree clan's neutrality. Then I'll return to the clan to finalize everything, making the neutrality official. Once you're back, have your father begin preparations. I think I'll arrive in Kali City for the formal proposal in about 3 months. Then in about 6 months we'll begin the full migration, moving our people overseas. 6 months should be enough time for preparations, and our Skytree realm should be able to accommodate them. After that, I'll stay with you there, help you train, teach our people a new cultivation method, and wait for the moment to face the tribulation."
Mei Hongxi nodded.
She had no objections. "Do what you need to. While you're in the ancestral court, you don't have to teleport to me," she said softly. "I don't want you to be exposed." Having finally reunited after so much difficulty, she was naturally reluctant to part from him again. But Tang San still had to act under the identity of Jean Mirolin within the ancestral court, and he still faced constant danger. Frequent teleportation would easily expose flaws. "I'll make arrangements, don't worry," Tang San said gently as he looked at her. Following her reincarnation to this realm, bringing her back and reuniting their family had always been his top priority. And now that goal was drawing closer and closer. Fewer and fewer powers remained that could stand in their way. What could be more wonderful than that? This battle for the throne had also deeply influenced Tang San. Holy energy and life annihilation were in fact both rooted in the divine realm. The reason he had been able to produce and control them was that his strength was getting closer to full restoration, and his past life's influences were beginning to resurface. When he reached the level of emperor, all of his past abilities would return in full. For now, what he needed to do was organize all he had gained in this realm, and prepare to reconnect with everything from his former life. In truth, the battle for the throne was even more complicated for him than becoming an emperor. Every seemingly coincidental victory had been earned by taking tremendous risks. He couldn't use his true abilities, yet still had to defeat powerful foes. How could that have been easy? But once he began his assault on the emperor level, he would no longer have to hold back. At last, he would be able to unleash his power without restraint. By now, the carriage had arrived at the White Tiger Grand Hotel. Both sides of the street were packed with people, and waves of cheering erupted. The battle for the throne had come to an end, and the final ranking of the crown princes had been officially announced. That the Peacock Demon clan's Mei Gongzi had formed an alliance with the Blue Gold Tree clan's Jean Mirolin through marriage was a piece of news that would have far-reaching consequences not only for their clans and cities, but for the entire continent. Tang San and Mei Gongzi stepped down from the carriage one after the other. After greeting the crowd, they entered the hotel. However, Tang San didn't follow Mei Gongzi to the top floor. At a time, he had to maintain some distance between them to avoid raising suspicion. Returning to his room, Tang San immediately focused, releasing his divine consciousness to probe far into the distance from within the ancestral court. Before, he wouldn't have dared to do such a thing. There were countless powerhouses above the 10th order in the ancestral court who possessed divine consciousness, and in a place where emperors resided, who would dare casually sweep the surroundings with divine consciousness. Disturbing an emperor could mean death, but now his status had entirely changed. As a newly acknowledged crown prince, he had not only been granted permission to fly within the ancestral court, but the constraints he faced were also far fewer. Tang San soon located his target. Your Majesty, are you available now? Came an unhappy response from the other side. Then I'll come pay my respects now, Tang San replied immediately. The other answered with a curt grunt. Tang San changed his clothes, covered his face with a cloak, and quietly slipped out of the White Tiger Hotel. Soon he arrived at a palace. The palace was empty. Inside, a lone figure stood facing away from the door, hands clasped behind his back. Your Majesty, Tang San greeted with a slight bow. The sun-born nymph emperor turned around. His face was still obscured by mist, as always, but his mood was clearly sour. Tang San said nothing more, simply waiting silently. After a long pause, the sun-born nymph emperor finally sighed and said, "We old schemers got beaten by a little girl. That's something no one could have predicted. Even the old fox miscalculated, so I can't complain much. But this has messed up our well-laid plans." He didn't ask what choice Tang San would have made if Mei Gongzi hadn't intervened, because that no longer mattered. In the short span of this 1 month-long battle for the throne, the Blue Gold Tree clan leader standing before him had grown to the point that even Sunborn himself was beginning to regard him as an equal. Tang San gave a bitter smile. "I didn't expect this outcome either. But Your Majesty can rest assured. What I promised before still holds. Once Jean Miaolin becomes emperor, the first blue gold fruit will be offered to you. Well, that's when Jean Miaolin becomes emperor. As for when that will happen, or rather, if that will happen, not my problem." Sunborn Nymph Emperor waved his hand. "I've still got some good years left. I'm not in a rush. I had Jiang Chancho deliver that message to you not just to pursue an alliance through marriage. I genuinely hope things would work out this way. If in the future you become the ruler of the ancestral court, it would be a great blessing not just for the court, but for the entire demon continent. Our realm is rich in resources, and that's why emperors like us could rise. But whether we want to go even further, or want our cultivation to evolve, it's not something that fortune alone can achieve. Fortune is limited to our own plane. True evolution, whether it's for us or for the plane itself, requires power that reaches far deeper than that. You know about my relationship with Earthshade. We often discuss what kind of force might lead to a real breakthrough. If my pure yang and her pure yin could truly merge, perhaps it could give rise to some essential force of the universe. But that fusion is extremely difficult. No matter how much we tried, we could not get it to work. During this tournament, however, your fusion of life and annihilation gave me a glimmer of hope. That power rivals even our yin-yang fusion and touches upon the most fundamental laws of nature. From now on, you must focus more on developing that. If you need anything, the Solstice Empire will fully support you. If you can master that power of life and annihilation, then the future leadership of the ancestral court will be yours. Your clan's neutral stance is a stroke of genius. It will greatly reduce resistance from the Empyrean Dominion. But you still must tread carefully. One wrong step could ruin everything." Listening to this analysis, Tang San was shaken. This emperor truly lived up to his reputation as the strongest. His insight was truly something else. "Yes, Your Majesty," Tang San replied. Sunborn Nymph Emperor sighed. "Perhaps in the end, it's a good thing the marriage didn't go through. When the Celestial Fox announced he would provide you with 4 eight-tailed foxes for support, I couldn't even object. If your fiancé had been Jiang Chancho, you would have been marked as one of ours. By contrast, although the Celestial Fox rules the Empyrean Dominion, due to his mastery of fortune, he has to maintain a relatively neutral stance, which all sides can accept more easily. Now that I think about it, he must be even more frustrated than I am. What he thought was in the bag ended up being disrupted by a little girl. I have to say she is quite the smart one. Once you marry her, be sure to control her well. She will be an immense asset to you. I trust that with your abilities that won't be too hard." Tang San rubbed his nose helplessly. Anything else maybe, but his own wife? He honestly didn't dare say he could control her. And even if he could, he didn't have the slightest intention to do so. "I'll do my best, Your Majesty." Sunborn Nymph Emperor scowled. "What do you mean your best? If you can't manage your own household, how can you rule the world? Don't tell me you can't handle even that. Her divine item may be strong, but don't you have plenty of your own methods? You even fooled all of us. No one realized you'd inherited the Crystal Demon Emperor's full legacy. That alone is enough to set you above the rest. Well, anyway, that's for later. Next, the ancestral court will formally confirm your clan's neutral status. If you need my help with anything, say so now. Tang San immediately responded, the ancestral court will probably require me to stay here after that, right? Follow current novels on nv3l.fire.net. Of course, you won't be allowed to leave easily before you become emperor. And even after, you'll need to remain stationed here most of the time. Didn't you hear Celestial Fox say it? We old folks are counting on you. Tang San nodded. I have no problem with that. But I do hope the ancestral court will ensure the safety of my clan members as they travel to the major cities. That is of utmost importance. Latest content published on novifire.net. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor nodded and said, you needn't worry about that. After your performance in this tournament, the Blue Gold Tree Clan is now a highly cherished presence. The ancestral court will issue mandates requiring every major city to provide powerful protection for your clansmen. At minimum, they'll assign 2 great demon kings to escort them, possibly even an emperor personally, so your people's safety will be well guaranteed. Hearing this, Tang San was delighted. That's wonderful news. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor continued. And what are your thoughts on becoming an emperor? Do you know the difference between the 11th order and the 12th? Tang San's heart stirred. I would appreciate your guidance, Your Majesty. When you touch upon the threshold of the 10th order, you get into contact with the most basic form of the laws of the plane. To become an emperor, you must comprehend these laws. That means reaching the upper limit of this plane. But you must be cautious not to overreach. Otherwise, you might end up becoming part of the laws themselves. The ancestral tree did exactly that. It fused too deeply with the laws and eventually became one with the realm. At that point, it was no longer an independent being, but a part of the plane that was not truly intelligent but acted on instinct alone. That's what you must avoid. For those like us, death is preferable. An emperor who falls might still have a chance to reincarnate, but one who merges into the will of the plane will remain forever dormant, unless the entire plane undergoes a major evolution. So, before you try to become emperor, you must clearly understand which law you intend to comprehend. Only then can you find your path to ascension. Your original path was to follow in the footsteps of the ancestral tree. As long as you didn't reach its level, it would have worked well enough. But now, with the Crystal Demon Emperor's inheritance and your insights into the power of life and annihilation, as well as holy energy, your choices have expanded. Everything else you gain from now on will serve to support your eventual path. When you begin comprehending the laws, you must remain resolute and unyielding. That is the only way to endure the Emperor's tribulation smoothly. Tang San nodded slightly. Though he had once been a god king, the divine realm he had come from was fundamentally different from this plane. To regain his past cultivation, he first needed to become an emperor in this world, and to do that, as the Sunborn Nymph Emperor said, he had to touch the laws of this world. Thank you for your instruction, Your Majesty, Tang San said with a bow. I will return to Skytree City with the elders to prepare for our neutral declaration. I'll also select the elders who will travel to the main cities. You told me a while back that you wanted to visit the ancestral tree. Would you like to come with me? The Sunborn Nymph Emperor paused briefly to ponder, then replied, I think I'll hold off for now. I originally hoped to visit the ancestral tree to seek an opportunity, but now I see a greater one in you. Once you become emperor, I'll decide what to do next. Don't rush. To become an emperor, one must build a solid foundation and strike only when the time is right. Even though you're ranked second among the crown princes, don't let that concern you. Just do whatever you feel necessary. Whatever resources you need, the ancestral court will support you, whether it's items, fortune, or anything else. Like Celestial Fox said, you may be the one person the ancestral court has most hoped to see become emperor in thousands of years. So go forward without fear. Yes, Tang San answered clearly. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor asked, do you plan to marry Mei Gongzi before becoming emperor, or after? Tang San blinked. Does that make a difference? Of course it does. If nothing else happens until then, I recommend marrying her before you ascend. That way, you'll be able to support each other during the tribulation. I mean, wasn't that your intention? Anyway, isn't that why you gave her that life bond necklace? She'll likely ascend before you, and that sword will cleave open a wide path for her. The law she deals with should be something like justice or judgment. That divine sword of hers is no ordinary artifact. Even we can feel its threat. You do well to leverage that. I understand. Once the neutrality matter is settled, I'll head to Kali City and formally propose. When we marry, I hope your majesty will officiate. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor sighed lightly. That little lass is a little too clever. Otherwise, letting Jiang Chancho be your second wife wouldn't be out of the question. If you could convince her, you might enjoy the fortune of many wives. Tang San shivered and gave a wry smile. As you saw today, I don't think that's going to happen. Convincing her won't be easy. The Sunborn Nymph Emperor snorted. A man should be firm when it counts. Easy for you to say. Tang San thought. Well, I'm sure I'll be firm when it counts. Bidding farewell to the Sunborn Nymph Emperor, Tang San returned to the White Tiger Hotel. His visit, of course, had been to maintain rapport. Before becoming emperor, he would still need Sunborn's backing within the ancestral court. That support would help him weather the tribulation more smoothly, and ensure someone would stand with him in crucial moments. If he could gain the support of both Sunborn and Earthshade among nymphs, and White Tiger, Undying, and Crystal Phoenix among demons, then he would have the entire situation firmly in his grasp. Becoming emperor was just the first step. The ultimate goal was to return to his former station as a god king. Right now, Tang San was confident that no single emperor, even someone as powerful as Sunborn, could kill him now. What he needed to avoid was being surrounded. So for now, managing relationships in the ancestral court remained vital. Upon returning to the White Tiger Hotel, Tang San finally made his way to the top floor. On the surface, it was a formal visit to Mei Gongzi. The door opened.
Mei Gongzi herself answered.
Their eyes met and Tang San smiled. Greetings, dear fiancé. Mei Gongzi's pretty face flushed red. She rolled her eyes at him and turned around to walk into the room. Inside the familiar luxury suite, not only were Luo Qingzhu and Su Qin present, but the White Tiger Demon Emperor had also arrived. The White Tiger Demon Emperor wore a broad smile. He was clearly in excellent spirits. When he saw Tang San in the guise of Jean Mirolan, he couldn't help pointing at him and laughing. Kid, you really are something. You've surprised me time and again. Greetings, grandfather, Tang San said with a smile. He didn't even use the formal address anymore. Now that Mei Gongzi was officially his fiancé, calling him grandfather felt entirely appropriate. Good, good, very good. The White Tiger Demon Emperor laughed heartily. Today has been the happiest day I've had in the last 5 centuries. Not only is my precious granddaughter about to become an emperor, but I got to see that old fox get humiliated. That look on his face was priceless. Tang San couldn't help but grin. Mei Gongzi, however, muttered sourly, someone might still be regretting not getting those 4 eight-tailed celestial fox girls. Didn't you see the scene this morning? All those female demons throwing themselves at him, and he didn't reject a single one. Injustice. I've been wronged. Tang San quickly protested. My heart's too small. There's only room for you. Past, present, or future that will never change. Mei Gongzi's cheeks flushed even redder, and she pouted and harumphed in an overt manifestation of righteous anger. But her bright eyes sparkled with joy. The White Tiger Demon Emperor said, no matter what, this battle for the throne ended in the most perfect way possible. Celestial Fox dared to challenge my granddaughter, but ended up eating dirt. That's his comeuppance for trying to control everyone all the time. But from here on, the two of you must keep a low profile. No more big moves, understood? Build your foundation and prepare for ascension. The ancestral court will give you full support. Once you're ready, you'll be allowed into the very heart of the ancestral court's foundation to comprehend your personal law. That is the key to becoming emperor. Tang San nodded. I just met with the Sunborn Nymph Emperor. He also brought up the topic of these laws. Little Mei's law will be the one represented by her sword. After all, that sword is her life-bound divine item. As for mine, I'll need to refine myself a bit more first. When the time comes, I'll be troubling you, grandfather. The White Tiger Demon Emperor blinked, his gaze suddenly growing a little wary. What exactly will you be troubling me with? Tang San smiled. Naturally, I'll need to spar with you. Under your pressure, I'll be able to better integrate all my abilities. The White Tiger Demon Emperor's mouth twitched. You wish. I'm not going to be your sparring partner. Luo Qingzhu noticed something strange. When the White Tiger Demon Emperor mentioned being a sparring partner, his reaction wasn't just refusal, but also awkwardness. What's going on? Could it be that Tang San's strength has already reached the point where he could pose a threat to the White Tiger Demon Emperor? Tang San smiled. This isn't just for my own benefit. It's also for yours. If you want to go further, you'll need not only to deepen your comprehension of your original law, but also to touch upon higher-level laws. The White Tiger Demon Emperor's eyes narrowed. You have some ideas? Tang San nodded slightly. A few. When the time comes, we can try them out. You'll see for yourself. Then come find me when you're ready. Tang San turned to Mei Gongzi. You should return to Kali City as soon as possible. Once the matter of my clan's neutrality is finalized, I'll send someone to Kali City, maybe even multiple people. Since you're my fiancé now, I have the perfect excuse. Mei Gongzi said softly. Take care of yourself too. Don't worry. I didn't expose any flaws during the battle for the throne, and I'm not planning to do that from now either. Now that I can enjoy grandfather's public support, it's going to be easier. The White Tiger Demon Emperor nodded. Your performance shocked all the emperors. Most noteworthy was your power of life and destruction. Be careful with that. The Scourge Dragon's destruction force is no joke. Don't let it taint you. Tang San nodded. I'll control it well. Anyway, I can't stay long. I have to return to convene the Blue Gold Tree Clan's Elder Council. Hearing that he was about to leave, Mei Gongzi's face fell. Though she knew he had important duties, she was still reluctant to see him go. Tang San walked up to her, took her hand and said, Within 3 months I'll come to propose. Then we'll be formally wed. After that, we'll prepare to cross our tribulations. We can hold the wedding in the ancestral court and use it to draw the attention of all the emperors and powerful clans, and take the chance to initiate mass teleportations and complete the migration. Mei Gongzi's eyes became serious. Apart from their reunion, the human migration was the most important objective. Now that both of them were crown princes, they could finally give some actual protection to humanity. The large-scale disappearance of humans would surely cause ripples, but by that time, with Crown Princess Mei Gongzi married to Crown Prince Jean Mirolan, even if the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor figured out that they were the ones behind it, he'd have to think twice before taking action. There would be no repeat of what had happened in the human town a while back. Tang San was now prepared, and he would never again allow the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor to catch him off guard. With the battle for the throne concluded, participants and spectators from other cities began to depart. Finally, the city returned to its normal, calm atmosphere. The next morning, Mei Gongzi and the Peacock Demon clan departed. Tang San personally escorted them to the gates of the ancestral court. As for the matter of the Blue Gold Tree clan's neutrality, the ancestral court offered no further resistance, and it was quickly formalized. Both the Empyrean Dominion and Solstice Empire's main cities would send envoys to Skytree City, inviting the Blue Gold Tree clan's high-level members over. Each city would dispatch at least 2 great demon kings to escort the Blue Gold Tree elders. They would also construct so-called Towers of Life for the Blue Gold Tree clan's elders to reside in. These would have energy-gathering arrays and whatever other facilities needed to aid in the gathering of life energy. Each elder could bring up to 50 clan members to live in the tower and help with daily operations, as well as cultivate there. These Towers of Life would be held in the highest regard within the cities. Even city lords would have no authority over them. Only decrees from the ancestral court would apply. All resources required by the Towers of Life would be provided and supported by the host cities. In turn, the towers would gather life energy to benefit the city's denizens. The Blue Gold Tree clan would become neutral, but still retain Skytree City as their sovereign territory. Naturally, the ancestral tree would remain at its core. Some emperors had actually proposed moving the ancestral tree to the ancestral court, but this had been ultimately rejected. The ancestral tree could not be moved. This was the one thing the Blue Gold Tree clan absolutely refused to compromise on. As for Jean Mirolan, he would remain stationed in the ancestral court. A blue gold sacred mountain would be constructed near Council Mountain for him, and on it there would be a Tower of Life built at Emperor-level specifications, implying that no matter what happened, Jin Miaolin was to become an emperor. He would be the one to oversee the gathering of life energy for the ancestral court, of course. At the same time, the ancestral court announced that, according to the final ranking of the 3 crown princes, resources would be prioritized for Mei Gongzi, to aid her in becoming an emperor as soon as possible. Well, that was the official statement. In truth, everyone knew that the one receiving the most resources was Jin Miaolin. After all, once he became emperor, the benefits to the ancestral court and all emperors would be enormous. After days of discussion, the design of the Blue Gold Palace was finalized. The ancestral court would construct its framework and provide all materials. Once completed, the Blue Gold Tree clan would handle the interior and other structures themselves. During this period, another major decree was announced. After internal deliberations, the ancestral court approved Radiant Dragon King Suan Yu as the official lord of Crystal City. After all, his performance during the battle for the throne had clearly demonstrated that he was certain to become an emperor, and once he ascended, he would unquestionably become the strongest among dragons. He was certain to surpass the tenebrous demon emperor. With everything settled, Tang San prepared to return to Skytree City with the Blue Gold Tree elders, ready to welcome emissaries from the various cities. But just as they were about to leave, Suan Yu emerged from seclusion and came to visit him at the White Tiger Hotel. The moment he saw Suan Yu, Tang San immediately noticed a change in his aura. Suan Yu's eyes gleamed with warmth when he saw Tang San. "Brother Jin. Haha, you're the hottest figure in the entire ancestral court right now," he said, giving Tang San a hearty hug. Tang San smiled wryly. "Brother Su, it seems you're enjoying this a bit too much. Maybe you're disappointed Mei Gongzi chose me because now you can't propose to me yourself." Suan Yu burst out laughing. "Please. My clan has no shortage of beautiful dragon ladies who would give an arm to marry me. With my bloodline, I could marry 10 and still be in high demand. But that aside, I heard you're about to leave." "Yes. We're returning to Skytree City to await the envoys from the major cities." Suan Yu patted his shoulder. "Well, you know what, no more formalities. Forget the waiting, forget the pomp, screw all that. I'm coming to Skytree City with you, and I'll grab an elder myself. Deal." Tang San couldn't help but laugh. This guy really didn't bother with appearances. Over the past days, the leaders of all the main cities had been trying everything to win over the Blue Gold Tree clan elders. It was obvious even to an idiot that a great nymph king would be able to gather incomparably more life energy than a nymph king. And there were only 3 of that level in the entire Blue Gold Tree clan, while there were more than a dozen main cities. Whoever could bring one back would be the winner of this unspoken competition. Because of the situation, the Grand, Second, and Third Elders had all become the center of attention. They were more respected than ever before. A crown prince is coming in person. What more sincerity do you want? Seeing Tang San's helpless smile, Suan Yu couldn't help but laugh as well. Tang San sighed. All right. Crystal City is the #1 city after all, so it makes sense. But don't bother thinking about the Grand Elder. I already promised him to the Sun-born Nymph Emperor. Without his support I wouldn't be where I am today. As for the Second Elder, I already gave my word to the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor. Once I become Emperor, I'll need him to manage fortune on my behalf." Suan Yu gave him a suspicious look. "Don't tell me you're still thinking about that 8-tailed Celestial Fox wife team?" Tang San rolled his eyes. "You're overthinking it. I wouldn't dare, even if you gave me your courage." Suan Yu grumbled with jealousy. "Mei Gongzi is just too damn beautiful. Strictly speaking, we're even romantic rivals. So that just leaves the Third Elder for me." Tang San snorted. "Romantic rivals? Please, my little Mei never even looked at you. Don't flatter yourself." Suan Yu's eyes widened. "Hey, that's just mean. No need to hit me where it hurts." The two burst into laughter again. Suddenly, Suan Yu's expression turned serious. "Brother Jin, I have a request." Suan Yu gave a bitter smile. "Leave me some space." Tang San's eyes narrowed slightly. "Space for what?" Suan Yu sighed. "You know what I mean. On the surface there are 3 emperor seats available, but, seriously? Let's not talk about Mei Gongzi. Her divine sword is massively powerful, far beyond what a normal emperor's seat can support. I bet the instant she ascends, her celestial pillar will surpass 300 meters, maybe more. As for you, with your insight into holy energy and the force of life and destruction, your pillar will be colossal. Maybe you'll even reach the heights of her late majesty eventually. But if the two of you take up so much space, what's left for me? My position as crown prince might become meaningless. Can you maybe hold back a little until I ascend? Let's all become emperors together. Then we can talk about cultivation. In truth, Tang San had guessed Suan Yu's intent the moment he had arrived. As Suan Yu said, nobody here was an idiot. No one could fail to see that Tang San, Suan Yu, and Mei Gongzi would not become ordinary emperors. Indeed, on the surface, 3 emperor seats were available. But could they truly accommodate all 3 of them? Fat chance. Suan Yu hadn't expected to lose to Tang San and only take the 3rd position. Yet here he was, having to humble himself. Tang San smiled slightly and said, "Don't worry, Brother Su. I promise you, when you ascend there will be enough room for your celestial pillar. You have my word." Suan Yu blinked, taken aback. He hadn't expected Tang San to agree so easily. This was, after all, an emperor's seat. He'd only come to test the waters, to see if Tang San would take all the fortune or leave him some as well. The adamant nymph emperor's celestial pillar had reached nearly 300 meters, but the crystal demon emperor's had surpassed 600. That was why there were 3 seats. From Suan Yu's perspective, Mei Gongzi's pillar would reach 300 meters the very moment she ascended, and that would instantly mark her as a powerful new emperor. As long as Tang San's pillar didn't exceed 400 meters, there should still be enough room for Suan Yu to hold back a bit and squeeze through. Now that he had Tang San's word, what more could he ask? "Brother Jean, I'm truly grateful." Suan Yu's expression was filled with sincerity. Tang San chuckled. "Didn't you say we're on the same side? We're the new generation of emperors, so we have to support each other." "Exactly. I'll never be your enemy. You claim that you just tricked the light sprite for a moment, but I know that if you hadn't refused her, she would have really ditched me to follow you. And besides, we both inherited the legacy of the Crystal Demon Emperor. Becoming emperors together is also a way of honoring her will. We're brothers forever." As the newly appointed Lord of Crystal City and the dragon's acknowledged rising star, Suan Yu's friendship was both meaningful and valuable. Tang San didn't respond, just smiled quietly. Suan Yu had no idea why he had agreed so easily. But for Crystalline's sake, what was one more emperor among friends? Suan Yu said, "All right, then I won't bother you anymore. Let me know when you're ready to depart. I'll go to Skytree City with you." After Suan Yu left, Tang San changed his appearance inside the room, disguising himself as an ordinary person and putting on a cloak that concealed his aura. Then he quietly teleported away. He left the White Tiger Hotel, then teleported again to a familiar corner of the ancestral court's outskirts. The little tavern was quiet. With the battle for the throne over, it had returned to its usual stillness. In a dim corner, a gray-robed figure sat at a table. Without a sound, Tang San appeared in the chair opposite. "Here's the final payment." He tossed over a pouch of amethystine coins. The gray-robed person caught the bag, glanced inside and immediately said, "Too much." Tang San said calmly, "Your team did a good job. Consider the rest advance payment for our next collaboration." The person nodded and put the pouch away. "Same contact method. Not sure what your purpose is, but if it hits the ancestral court, we're interested." "Understood. Until next time." Tang San's figure vanished into thin air. Even though the gray-robed person was a top-tier stealth expert, they couldn't sense how Tang San had disappeared. With everything handled, Tang San finally led the Blue Gold Tree Clan's elders away from the ancestral court and returned to Skytree City. They rode carriages out of the city, then Tang San and Suan Yu disembarked and flew by themselves. Watching the rivers and forests rush by beneath them, the Blue Gold Tree elders couldn't help but feel as if they were in a dream. When they had arrived at the ancestral court, they had been a powerless clan, bullied by everyone. Now they were returning as one of the most prominent powers on the continent, with a crown prince of their own and an alliance with another. Their future emperor's sacred mountain was already under construction in the ancestral court. Such honors were unprecedented. The Blue Gold Tree Clan was no longer a weakling at others' mercy. It had risen again. Tang San and Suan Yu flew ahead, with Tang San riding the crystal dragon and Suan Yu sitting on the head of his own radiant twin dragon. These two dragon knights soaring through the heavens represented the dawn of a new generation in the ancestral court. The carriages of the blue gold tree elders followed behind in a grand procession. Whenever they passed by a city, powerful beings rose into the sky to greet them and to offer hospitality. And everywhere they decided to stop, they were met with the most exquisite welcome. No more guest houses made of fire attribute bricks. The battle for the throne had captivated the hearts of all races across the demon continent. Every detail of the tournament had been widely publicized and discussed. Even if some hadn't witnessed it firsthand, they had heard all the results, and descriptions of every match had been delivered to every corner of the realm. Two crown princes traveling together enjoyed a level of respect that equaled that of current emperors, and maybe even surpassed it. After all, they were the new generation poised to become the next true rulers of the continent, destined to reign for thousands of years. Tang San and Suan Yu's performance in the tournament had already proven they would not be ordinary emperors. With Suan Yu being the ruler of Crystal City and future Dragon Lord, and with Tang San preparing to establish a continent-wide network of towers of life to push forward the evolution of all life, their status had become so elevated that even emperors themselves now regarded them as equals. "Brother Jean, have you decided how you'll assign your clan's elders?" Suan Yu asked. "Looks like everyone's about to fight over them." At the moment, no clan on the demon continent could rival the popularity of the Blue Gold Tree clan. Everyone understood that the towers of life they would manage would bring immense benefits to everyone, arguably even more so than the Celestial Fox clan's control of fortune. The Celestial Fox Demon Emperor couldn't look after every single race and clan. His role was only to ensure the general retention of fortune across the continent. But life energy was different. Everyone required it. With enough of it, even a second-tier bloodline could eventually evolve into a first-tier one. Lower tiers had even greater potential. Thus, although Tang San himself wasn't seeing guests, the Blue Gold Tree clan's elders were being endlessly courted and tempted by representatives from all over. However, the elders didn't dare accept lavish gifts or request specific placements, because they all understood one thing clearly. Everything the Blue Gold Tree clan had now was because of Jean Miaolin. Without their new clan leader, they'd have likely been reduced to firewood and fertilizer in the not-so-far future. Even now, as they neared Skytree City, Tang San had not revealed how he would assign the elders to the various major cities. Not only was Suan Yu anxious, but so were the elders themselves. Everyone wanted to go to the more powerful cities to receive better resources and support, but all they could do was wait. Tang San glanced at Suan Yu and smiled. "Didn't I already promise you? Can't you guess how I'll handle things?" Suan Yu chuckled, sending a voice transmission. "I know you promised me the third elder, but look, there are only 14 main cities on the continent, yet your Blue Gold Tree clan has over 40 elders. And with the ancestral tree's evolution, you'll have even more in the future. Wouldn't it make sense to assign multiple elders to the same city? Don't worry, I can build multiple towers of life. You trust the dragon race's resources, right?" But to Suan Yu's surprise, Tang San shook his head. "Brother Su, each major city can only have one tower of life. You can build that tower however large you want, but only one per city. Without rules, things fall into chaos, and since the ancestral court has already established the rule, we must uphold it, or it'll lead to trouble. You understand what I mean, right?" Suan Yu pondered for a moment. "So you mean I can't have two towers, but I can have two elders and keep them both in the same tower?" Tang San sighed. "When did I say I'd give you two elders? If everyone did what you're suggesting, I'd have none left. Who would guard Skytree City? Who would take care of the ancestral tree?" Suan Yu laughed. "All right, I get it. Let's play the long game. How about this? Just let me take some peak 9th Order clansmen along with the third elder. I'll use our resources to cultivate them into demon kings. No one can complain about that, right?" Tang San let out a helpless sigh. "You're really exhausting every possible strategy." Suan Yu sighed as well. "I don't have much choice. The dragon race is big, and I have to look out for my people." Tang San chuckled. "I'm starting to regret bringing you back with me. You clearly planned all this from the start. All your previous comments were just testing the waters." Suan Yu grew solemn. "We're brothers, aren't we? What's mine is yours and all that. In the future, our people will stand together. Who knows? A few hundred years from now, this whole continent might belong to us. Tang San smiled faintly. I'm afraid I won't be around for that long. Su and Yu blinked. What? You're not confident about becoming an emperor? You may have a mixed skill set, but the emperors are all hoping you'll succeed. When you undergo your tribulation, they'll definitely help. It shouldn't be too difficult. Tang San shrugged. Who can tell? Well, anyway, I'll consider your proposal, but I can't promise anything yet. I need to go home and check how my people are doing first. Fair enough. Just keep me in mind. I'll personally escort them to Crystal City. I'd like to see who would dare interfere, Su and Yu said with a grin. Skytree City was about to become lively. Emissaries from all the main cities were either on the way or had already arrived to greet their assigned Blue Gold Tree elders, the future masters of the Towers of Life. Tang San already had a plan in mind, so he wasn't worried about the proceedings. And so, the party returned to Skytree City without issue. In the distance, the massive city surrounded by lush forest came into view. The life energy in the air was thick and vibrant. Seeing the city, even Su and Yu couldn't help but sigh. What a beautiful place. And the life energy is so abundant. Brother Jean, you have to introduce me to the ancestral tree so I can pay my respects. Of course, Tang San nodded. Far ahead, a large number of Blue Gold Tree clan members had already received word and had come out a few kilometers to welcome them. They greeted the returning party with deep reverence. Every face beamed with excitement. They all knew how much everything that had happened recently meant to their entire clan. Everything had changed. Though the world itself remained the same, the protagonists of the world were changing, and the Blue Gold Tree clan was about to become one of the most important parts of it. No longer were they afraid or ashamed. Only pride and purpose remained. The Blue Gold Tree clan was truly rising again. Welcome home, clan leader. Welcome, Crown Prince. As soon as they saw Tang San, the clan members all knelt in unison. His prestige within the clan had reached its absolute peak. Their hearts were as one. Tang San descended with the elders, smiling as he looked over the sea of familiar faces. Everyone, please rise. I'm still the same person. My status may have changed, but I haven't. Now, let's return to the inner city and pay respects to the ancestral tree. Yes, the Blue Gold Tree clan members responded, rising and surrounding Tang San, Su and Yu, and the elders as they headed toward the inner city. This was Su and Yu's first time visiting Skytree City, and everything was new and wondrous to him. When he saw the inner city's goldenwood walls, even he couldn't help but voice his admiration. Escorted by the entire clan, Tang San led Su and Yu to the inner city, to the towering form of the ancestral tree itself. The ancestral tree seemed to have undergone significant changes. Its immense trunk now pulsed with renewed vitality, and even the life energy it emitted was no longer the gentle light Tang San had seen during his first visit here. It had thickened almost to the point of being called viscous. Blue leaves and golden branches glowed with a faint radiance. The moment Su and Yu laid eyes on it, his first impression was, this is the center of the world. The ancestral tree's aura had clearly grown stronger. Not by a little, but by a great deal. Tang San wasn't surprised in the slightest. His rise to Crown Prince had greatly boosted the reputation of the Blue Gold Tree clan, and with their recognition as a neutral faction, the influx of faith and fortune toward the ancestral tree had likely multiplied several-fold. Coupled with the clan's newfound unity and rising status across the continent, it was the best nourishment the ancestral tree could receive. Tang San approached the tree and offered a deep, respectful bow before slowly straightening. Great ancestral tree, he said. Your descendants have not let you down. We have secured a new future for our people. I return today to report our triumph. From now on, no race shall bully us. No conflict shall cast our people into sorrow. We shall guide the evolution of life energy across this continent, so your brilliance may shine upon every corner of the land. As he spoke, Tang San lifted his hand and placed it against the tree's massive trunk. In that instant, the entire ancestral tree lit up, golden radiance bursting forth. Every leaf turned crystalline blue, emitting dazzling light. A surge of immensely potent life energy erupted from the ancestral tree, enveloping every Blue Gold Tree clan member in radiant blue-golden light. Even Su and Yu, an outsider, felt his whole being bathed in life energy, wrapped in a sublime sense of elevation. The ancestral tree's branches swayed gently. Tang San closed his eyes, standing beneath the densest and purest life energy of all. He could faintly sense a connection between himself and the ancestral tree, as if waves of life energy were pulling at his divine consciousness and trying to draw him into another realm. The stronger the pull, the higher the level of life aura he exuded. His eyes narrowed slightly, and his sea god divine seed awakened for an instant. With a gentle release of power, he severed the connection between himself and the ancestral tree. Clearly, while the ancestral tree now operated mostly on instinct, it still retained a sense of awareness. It was pleased with his help to the Blue Gold Tree clan, but it didn't want the clan to be entirely controlled by an outsider. Read complete version only at novelfire.net. But ancestral tree, do you not see? Without me, your clan would still be weak, even on the brink of extinction. Would you really watch your own people be destroyed? Tang San's thoughts were no exaggeration. Without him, the Blue Gold Tree clan might have survived under the ancestral tree's protection, but not for long. If they lost control of Skytree City, the ancestral tree itself would have faced uprooting. Without the stimulation of Tang San's high-level divine seat, it wouldn't have been able to unleash its power, not enough to kill an emperor certainly. Instead, it would have eventually ended up chopped down and split by other races. Tang San transmitted all these thoughts into the tree's consciousness. The ancestral tree, although by now an inextricable part of the plane's will, could still faintly respond. Though it no longer had a complete consciousness, its instincts were still there, and that was why it had always protected the Blue Gold Tree clan. Gradually, the ancestral tree's aura settled. Gentle life energy rippled outward in waves. From high in its canopy, a streak of golden light floated downward, a slender branch translucent and golden. As it descended, it twisted softly in the air, coiling into a circular ring. Small blue leaves sprouted along it, and at last it silently landed atop Tang San's head. 9 leaves stood upright along the golden branch, adorning Tang San with regal splendor. Clan leader. This is the ancestral tree's recognition. It acknowledges you as the king of our clan, the successor of your father and the ancestral tree itself, the Grand Elder exclaimed, trembling with excitement. Greetings, Tree King, the clan called out as one, once again kneeling in reverence. As the crown settled on his head, Tang San clearly felt the life energy in his body undergo a subtle transformation. Perhaps the ancestral tree was helping mask his true nature, but in that moment he felt no longer out of place in this world. The suppression and rejection he had always felt from the plane vanished entirely. This was the ancestral tree's acknowledgement, which equated to the recognition of the plane itself. To Suan Yu, Tang San now seemed completely fused with the world. Though his life energy hadn't grown in strength, its quality had clearly improved. He seemed to have reached perfect harmony with the world, as though the entire Blue Gold Tree clan was now an extension of his body. It was a stunning sight. Suan Yu understood. When Tang San ascended, he might truly become the next ancestral tree. The only question was, would he also vanish into the heavens like the one before? But Tang San knew better. The ancestral tree's recognition was perfect but not permanent. Once he faced his tribulation, everything would be laid bare. When that time came, he would once more face the plane head-on, and then the time would come to use his other plans. The miracle faded. The ancestral tree gradually returned to normal. Tang San turned toward the clan, raising both hands. Instantly, the Blue Gold Tree clan's people felt embraced by life energy and stood up instinctively. People of the Blue Gold Tree clan, I am Jean Miaolin, your clan leader and the king acknowledged by the ancestral tree. Thunderous cheers echoed across Skytree City. Every eye burned with passion. Even though most of the clan hadn't witnessed Tang San's exploits during the battle for the throne, they had heard every detail. After countless hardships, their leader had become a crown prince and brought the clan back to prominence. How could their hearts not surge with pride? The ancestral tree's recognition had only solidified their faith. Tang San raised both hands again, and silence quickly returned. Our journey to the ancestral court was a success. I have officially assumed the position of Lord of Skytree City. The ancestral court has permitted us to continue governing our homeland. Cheers exploded again. Many of the clan's elders were already in tears. What they had feared most was losing the city, in other words the ancestral tree itself. Though the ancestral tree had immense deterrent power, who wouldn't covet the source of all life on the continent? In the battle for the throne, I defeated nearly all my opponents and was ranked as a crown prince. I also formed a marital alliance with the first-ranked crown princess. We have earned the friendship of the dragon race and many other major races. For the future of our clan, and for us never again to be treated like commodities, I petitioned the ancestral court for our neutrality, and it was granted. In the near future, each main city across the continent will house a tower of life managed by one of our elders. As a neutral faction, we will gather life energy for everyone, spreading the ancestral tree's radiance to every corner of the land, helping other races evolve. The ancestral court will also erect a tower of life for me and establish a sacred mountain. I will remain in the ancestral court, helping it gather life energy. From now on, the Blue Gold Tree clan will no longer remain hidden on the fringes. We will step onto the central stage of the entire continent. Each word he spoke was full of meaning. Each word signaled a transformation for the Blue Gold Tree clan. Each word announced changes that could reshape the entire demon continent. The members of the Blue Gold Tree clan listened in rapt attention, afraid to miss even a single word. Skytree City will not be handed over because of our neutrality. This is a promise the ancestral court made to our clan. From here on, I will confer with the elders to prepare for our clan's dispatches to the main cities. At the same time, the elders will also conduct a full census of our people. I hereby decree, Jean Miaosen, as a direct heir of the ancestral tree, will be named Deputy Lord of Skytree City as of today. While I am at the ancestral court, she will oversee all city affairs. Before long, she will ascend to become a great nymph king. All clansmen who remain in Skytree City must support her just as you support me. Tang San truly felt grateful toward Jean Miaosen. If not for her, he never would have been inspired to devise such a clever strategy to win the battle for the throne. He had once told Mei Gongzi that he would send Jean Miaosen to Kali City, but that had only been a temporary measure. Now that he was formally Mei Gongzi's fiancé, there was no longer any need to send Jean Miaosen there. Their clan's foundation in Skytree City still needed someone to safeguard it, and Jean Miaosen was the ideal candidate. "Big brother, I don't want to be apart from you," Jean Miaosen said, her eyes red. Tang San smiled gently. "Silly girl. You're also a direct bloodline heir of the ancestral tree. You should shoulder your own responsibilities. I might be strong, but I cannot be everywhere at once. But with everyone's help, our clan can truly rise and never be bullied again. You're the best person to manage Skytree City." Tears brimmed in Jean Miaosen's eyes, but she said nothing more. She had witnessed Tang San's miracles firsthand, and he was right. She too was a child of the ancestral tree. She had her part to play. Now we will begin to record the detailed status of our clansmen, numbers, cultivation, age, everything. The more detailed, the better. This will allow the Council of Elders to make the best decisions as to whom to send where. Finally, I have some words for you that I genuinely hope you will remember. In the days to come, I hope all of you can be like a cluster of blazing flames when united, and each one of you like a star when apart. Everywhere you go, you must bring with you the light of life, the light of the ancestral tree. You must shine, and you must earn the true respect of those who welcome you among them, through your own efforts. Every one of you is a branch of the great tree that is our clan, and the fruits you bear must bring honor to it. Tang San's speech stirred the entire city. Clansmen flooded the streets, singing and dancing, expressing the boundless joy in their hearts. Moments later, Jean Miaosen and the elders were hard at work, beginning the census. Skytree City was the clan's foundation. It had to be carefully defended. How many and who exactly would be sent to each city had to be discussed meticulously. Fortunately, Tang San's authority was so great that not a single elder dared to act on their own. None went to him privately to request a specific city. They all waited for his approval. For original chapters, go to n.vfire.net. With Tang San's return, envoys from cities both near and far began pouring into Skytree City. The city was livelier than ever before. And then came the matter of assignments. The census results revealed that the Blue Gold Tree clan had nearly 1 million members. but most of these were actually lower-tier Golden Tree clan folk. Those with true blue gold tree blood numbered fewer than 20,000. Even so, as expected of a first-tier bloodline, they cultivated quickly, especially under the radiance of the ancestral tree. Besides the 40-some elders at the 10th order and above, there were over 500 peak 9th order blue gold tree clansmen, an impressive figure even compared to other powerful races. The remaining blue gold trees were mostly at the 7th or 8th order, those below that were primarily from the Golden Tree clan. Ultimately, after deliberation, it was decided that Tang San would be accompanied by 4 nymph kings to handle daily affairs. Jin Miaosan, as deputy city lord, would remain to oversee Sky Tree City. The Grand Elder would go to Solar City, the Second Elder to Celestial Fox City, and the third would accompany Suan Yu to Crystal City. These were the 3 11th order elders. Each one would also bring 2 peak 9th order clansmen with them. The other main cities would each receive 1 nymph king and 2 9th order clansmen. The majority of the 9th order clansmen would remain in Sky Tree City to cultivate. After all, the ancestral tree offered the best environment for evolution. The exception was the Tower of Life at the future Blue Gold Palace. Due to Tang San's presence, its effect would be nearly equal to being beside the ancestral tree. 59th order clansmen would accompany Tang San there to handle daily affairs alongside the 4 elders. In the end, about 20 elders would leave Sky Tree City, while 20 would remain. Sun City, Celestial Fox City, and Crystal City were the most prominent capitals, so having the 3 highest-ranking elders go there was fair, and the other envoys couldn't object. After remaining in Sky Tree City for a period, the delegations escorted the designated Blue Gold Tree elders back to their respective cities. This day was a turning point for the entire Blue Gold Tree clan. From this moment on, the glow of the Life Towers would begin to shine across the Demon Continent, and the influence of the Blue Gold Tree clan would grow exponentially. Suan Yu also took his leave, personally escorting the 3rd elder and 2 9th order clansmen back to Crystal City. Sky Tree City returned to quiet once more. Construction of the city's own life tower, designed personally by Tang San, began. It would rise beside the ancestral tree, but it would be built shorter than the tree to symbolize respect. It was meant to serve as the tree's guardian. Not that the ancestral tree needed anyone to guard it. While the life tower was under construction, Tang San surreptitiously set up a large teleportation array. Claiming to enter closed-door cultivation, he used the array to cross the continent, from the far west all the way to the far east. Without anyone knowing, he arrived in Golden Valley. There Tang San found the real Jin Miaolan beneath the golden tree, bathed in the valley's rich life aura. He sat cross-legged, meditating in silence. His complexion was rosy and clearly much improved from when he had first arrived, though the damage to his sea of consciousness still had a long way to go until it could be called fixed. His life essence was stable and no longer in danger. Tang San asked the Lion Tiger clan guards who had remained there. They told him he had spent nearly all his time in meditation, rarely even moving. They also passed on another message. After Big Cat defeated the Golden Lion clan's bitter rival in the battle for the throne, and avenged the late Golden Lion King, the lion race had decided to recognize the Lion Tiger clan as royalty as well. All lion demons now regarded Big Cat as king, and he was now the first Lion Tiger king. The tiger race hadn't joined in, as they were still under the White Tiger Demon Emperor, but this had brought the Lion Tiger clan and lion demons closer than ever. After the tournament, Big Cat had entered secluded cultivation, seeking to elevate himself further and find a path to emperorhood. Though there were already many emperors in this era, many were quite old, and under such conditions, others still had a chance to rise. The battle for the throne had given the 11th order powerhouses a clear ranking, allowing them to see the gaps between themselves and others. If they wanted a chance to ascend to emperorhood in the future, they would need to work even harder. For Tang San, killing the real Jin Miaolan would have been the simplest path to ensure nothing untoward happened. But he would never do something like that. The Blue Gold Tree clan had certainly grown strong due to him, and they owed him plenty, but at the same time, it was Jin Miaolin's status that had allowed him to accomplish many things that would have been otherwise impossible. When the day came for him to truly leave, it would also be the day the real Jin Miaolan returned to his kin. Without waking him, Tang San silently teleported away and returned to Kali City. He did not wish to delay even for a single moment, and he went straight to Mei Gongzi's side. Mei Gongzi was also in the middle of meditation. The battle for the throne had been deeply meaningful for her as well. Thanks to the Shadow Fiend sword, she had been able to bring out a sliver of the true power of the Azura sword, and she was getting closer and closer to making this transcendent divine item truly hers. Facing stronger opponents again and again, and igniting her bloodline power each time to summon the power of the divine sword, had drawn her and the sword closer. Each time she brushed the threshold of an even higher level of existence. So, the moment she returned, she had entered seclusion to cultivate. Though Mei Gongzi was on paper the final victor of the tournament, she knew well in her heart that the gap between her and Tang San hadn't closed. If anything, it had actually widened further. Tang San had reached the final round of the tournament without even using his most powerful transcendent bloodlines, and the only reason he hadn't defeated her was that he had been unable to let her be hurt. Meanwhile, even the White Tiger Demon Emperor had refused to fight him. That alone spoke volumes about the extent of his strength. Only through greater effort could she hope not to drag him down in future battles. Tang San's concealment skills had also improved. Even as he teleported next to her, Mei Gongzi sensed nothing, deep in meditation as she was. He didn't disturb her. He merely sat nearby, silently watching her serene face. She was wearing a simple, casual outfit made from the finest silk. The slightly oversized silver-gray loungewear draped softly over her graceful figure. The source of this content is novelafire.net. Tang San felt his heart grow calm just watching her. Ever since he had left Kali City to travel and seek his chance at becoming an emperor, his nerves had been taut the entire time, especially during the battle for the throne. Every day had been filled with challenges, deception, and diplomacy among emperor-level powerhouses. It had been a constant test. He could not make one single mistake or everything he had built would have come crumbling down. Everything had gone smoothly, yet the constant pressure had drained him deeply. But now, sitting beside her, gazing at her peaceful face and basking in her familiar aura, Tang San felt that everything he had endured was worth it. If he could protect her well, stay by her side, and be with her safely, then that would be enough. Despite the hardships, this second life now felt beautiful. He sat in silence watching her, even forgetting the passage of time. Only when her eyelashes fluttered and she stirred awake did he release a trace of his aura to avoid startling her. Mei Gongzi's eyes opened swiftly. When she saw Tang San sitting nearby with a gentle smile on his face, her expression shifted rapidly. She pouted and tried to frown, but she couldn't hold it for long. Her eyes reddened slightly, and though she still pouted, she reached out her arms toward him. Tang San drew her soft body into his embrace. In that moment, there was no trace of her usual coldness or regal authority. She was simply a tender, affectionate young woman. She clung tightly to him. Here in Kali City they were finally safe, and there was no longer any need to restrain themselves. They could embrace freely. What could be more beautiful than this? They held each other for a long time silent, until their bodies were filled with one another's scent and warmth. "I missed you," Mei Gongzi said in a choked voice. "I missed you too, my love." "Nope. You lost the match. Call me Big Sister Mei." "Alright, Big Sister Mei. Did you finish dealing with everything?" she asked softly. Tang San nodded. "Pretty much. The assignments are done, and the emissaries are all on their way. As for your side, I've arranged for one Nymph King Elder to be stationed here. He should arrive soon. As for Jean Miaosen, I've asked her to remain in Skytree City to guard our foundation. I probably won't be returning there anymore. I'll help you construct the Life Tower here in Kali City. When I come to formally propose, everything will be ready. I'll bring a group of 9th Order Blue Gold Tree Clan members over to be stationed in both Kali City and our overseas Skytree realm. Since the names are practically the same, we'll just call it an expansion, hehe. We will have them gather life energy for our human race." "When are you going to propose, then?" Mei Gongzi's beautiful eyes shone brightly. Tang San smiled. "I won't be leaving right away this time. I want to scout out the overseas area first to make sure everything's ready. When that's done, I'll return to the Blue Gold Tree Clan with the official envoy." "You're not leaving now?" Mei Gongzi was overjoyed, forgetting all her earlier sulking about his absence. She looked like an excited little girl. "Not for a few days, no. I'll stay with you. He had been away from Kali City for too long. It was time to inspect the progress of Skytree Realm's construction, and more importantly, he could begin testing the preparations he had made. After the battle for the throne, Tang San understood that his and Mei Gongzi's time remaining on planet Phelan was growing short. The opportunity he had mentioned to Su Qin was, in fact, the arrival of the Azura Sword and the Sea God's Trident. When those two transcendent divine items descended, the time for their final breakthrough would arrive. At that moment, not even the entire plane could stop them. An hour later, Tang San and Mei Gongzi arrived at the eastern seashore, holding hands. As they gazed out at the endless sea, a faint golden aura surrounded them, the power of faith from the sea, naturally drawn to Tang San's divine presence. Tang San did not rush to absorb the faith energy. His cultivation was already high. Reaching the threshold could trigger a tribulation at any time, and he had not yet finished his preparations. Holding Mei Gongzi's hand, he felt a profound peace in his heart. This feeling was the most precious and comfortable of all. Come on, let me show you something, Mei Gongzi said excitedly. Silver light swirled around them, and in the next instant, the pair vanished into thin air. When they reappeared, they were already on Crescent Island. Looking at the island, Tang San found it nearly unrecognizable. The island itself was naturally the same, but there were far more buildings and people now. In addition to that, massive sea bridges extended in at least 3 directions toward the horizon. These bridges, supported by giant trees, stretched as far as the eye could see. The sea below was calm and clear like a lake. Occasionally, sea creatures would leap across the bridges, spraying whoever was walking across with seawater. This Skytree realm felt like a true paradise floating upon the sea.